Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another talk show, another episode, whatever you want to call it. Welcome, guys. This is going to be your astrological monthly overview for the month of November 2024. This is another big month, guys. I mean, we're kind of in the middle of it. This is like where everything is like gets set into motion, basically. Like, we have all this outer planet stuff, like basically moving us and shifting us into a new direction. But there's like some personal stuff that we really need to kind of wind back and like turn in, like focus internally on stuff that we need to, I guess, adjust to or change our direction or just kind of reset a lot of things before we, kind of jump into anything. Yes, this is basically kind of like where the holiday season starts. We have like a couple retrograde energies happening this month, so that's kind of like gonna be a little messy in a way, but we'll get to it as we go through this month. This is another very interesting month. Like I said, this is where a lot of things like really get set into motion and stuff like that. So let's just jump into it. So basically what I'm gonna be doing is talking about the overview for about, I don't know, maybe within the first hour of this video or something like that. And towards the end of the video, we will be going over the horoscopes, talking about all these important transits happening for all 12 signs. So if you want to stick around for that, check that out, please. But if you follow the first video, like the first part of this video with the overview, you'll understand, little keynotes and information of how this is going to affect all 12 signs. So just stick around for that. I am advertising the Sagittarius merch for this month. I got my Sag gear on, little hat, shirt. This is from last year. This is like actually one of my favorite shirts, favorite designs actually I've made. I mean, I'm a Sag, so I'm biased. So I'm going to be talking a little extra maybe. But yeah, the Sag season is coming, but we are basically in Scorpio season at this point of view. The month basically starts with this new moon, but we will get to that in just a second. What I want to do first is actually advertise my merch. Like I'm saying, I got the Sag gear on. I also have some other merch right here next to me. I got some cups, backpacks, hats, pillowcases. We even have water bottles. There's a bunch of stuff up there, guys. Even if you like kind of look behind me, you can see a couple of like bags or whatever on my wall. Like, you can find that stuff on there too. Like, there's plenty of stuff. But how do we get there? I will show you. So if you go to my Instagram, Codifer or Codiferverson, that's what you are going to search for. This will lead you to my profile, and this is where I advertise most of my sales and merch and stuff like that. But if you go to this link right here, so click the links, and it'll be the first one, codifersastrology.myspreadshop.com. Click on that, and that'll bring you to my website. So right now I'm having a 20% off sale from October 17th through the 22nd. I am recording this in October. I'm trying to get a little head start on this, but yeah, right now 20% off sale. I'm also having a free shipping sale as November starts. I believe that's it starts on like the October 30th through November 3rd. So if you do miss this one, I will be at least having a free standard shipping sale as the month starts. So that's another couple of announcements I should tell you. And also, I just released all new Scorpio merch, so let's just kind of check it out. Here's the website. Here's what you'll expect by checking the merch out and stuff like that. So new Scorpio merch out. Let me just click on it just so you guys can check it out. This is what it looks like. I'll get a closer view of the design. It looks pretty cool, kind of dark, kind of creepy. I don't know. I like it. I'm excited. I already ordered a shirt for myself. So hopefully maybe you guys can check it out. You can also have all these other colors. There's sizes. It's a lot of fun to do this stuff, and you can also customize your own merch too. So even if you don't want that design on that shirt, you customize it. Might as well just show you, I guess, guys, right? While we're here. So if you don't want this design, you just click this. You click the trash can over here, and then you go to designs. And if you have any designs on your phone or your computer, you could put that on the merch, or you could just go to any of this, any of these things that it has on here. It has a bunch of categories and all this cool stuff that you can put on the merch and stuff like that. So Yeah, if you get the chance to check that out, that will also be pretty sick, because I think you guys will like that as well. So yeah, this is all the merch. You got Libra merch. There's so many things on here, guys. Water bottles, long sleeves, baseball tees. They're bringing back the ornaments and stuff like that. I'm probably going to be adding more of those for any of the other signs and stuff like that. There's gonna be also stockings, like Christmas stockings also. I could probably add that too. But yeah, joggers, mouse pads, stickers, shorts, zip up hoodies, bundle deals, new colored joggers as well, which is really cool. Here's some more stuff. There's beanies on there. I can't wait to get one of those. I've been looking at that for a while now. There's tank tops. There's like bags, a bunch of stuff. Kids clothing if you are, where is it at? Yeah, kids clothing if you want that. There's also kids joggers too as well. It's one of these actually. There's hoodies. Everything is cool. I'm excited about this thing right here. This is one of our new items on the website. It just looks cool. Yeah, there's hats, a bunch of stuff, guys. So I hope you guys did check it out. 20% off sale in mid-month of October, and then the free shipping as we get towards Halloween and the first few days of November. So I just kind of wanted to advertise that. Code for Versin if you want to search for me again on Instagram or any social media. But Instagram is where I mainly do my work. So, all right, let's get into the good stuff. All right, guys, so welcome to November. This is another, like I said, another month we will be discussing. We are finally kind of reaching that Mars retrograde point, which I was kind of basically saying in the beginning of this video of like, you know, there's a personal kind of shifts that we need to internalize and back up, you know, and kind of like before we, I guess, pursue anything forward and stuff like that. So, and also we're entering a Mercury retrograde as well too. So there's going to be kind of like a double retrograde theme happening over like November and into December as well. So the last couple months, guys, might feel a little chaotic. It might feel very delayed in a lot of stuff. So just hold up, you know, do what you can mainly because, you know, there's just certain things that we need to take care of before we can jump to basically the future. And as we get into 2025, guys, that is going to be a huge year, guys. And we will talk about little details and little hints and as we go through this video, because there's one point during this I guess talk show or point of the month that we will discuss more of that. So let's jump into it. If you are new here, I am Cody. I forgot to introduce myself, I guess, but whatever. I'm on Spotify now, so you can listen to this on Spotify. You can follow me on Patreon and get this early before I post it on YouTube or Spotify, and I'm on YouTube. So there's 3 platforms that you can basically watch this video or listen to online, and I'm finally like on Spotify, and that was like the greatest thing that I've been trying to do for a very long time, guys. So I'm excited to put that. I just wanted to announce that, just kind of like shout that out real quick. But yeah, I'm on Spotify, I'm on Patreon. You know, get this a little early before I, you know, post it on other platforms. And then you could also follow me on YouTube and subscribe and watch it whenever I post it then. But yeah, so yeah, I'm an astrologer. I'm Cody. I've been doing this kind of work for 5-6 years almost, so it's been quite a while. I've been studying this for a very long time. I've been doing these videos mostly this year. Before I was doing the videos, I was doing like written horoscopes on my Patreon, but that kind of like, you know, didn't really go anywhere. So I kind of had to like, you know, change up my work a bit and, you know, start doing these videos, which I've been very excited to do. So I really hope you guys enjoy this. Please like, subscribe, and, you know, share with other people as much as you can. You know, get the word out, you know, even with the merch. That's why I try to do this as well. I try to advertise my work and stuff like that. So I know I'm kind of all over the place, a lot of announcements. So I just want to kind of say that out. But yeah, okay. We're finally going into the overview. Sorry, guys. I know it's a lot to talk about. I'm very excited about a lot of things. So... All right, so let me get a drink before we start this. So welcome to the talk show. Welcome to, you can say Codiverse Astrology, Codiverse Talk Show, whatever you want to call it. As we enter the month of November, the first main highlight is we are basically coming into this new moon in Scorpio. So yeah, we're in Scorpio season. You know, the sun just entered Scorpio on October 22nd. Everything kind of just like, you know, shifted a little bit, you know, deeper, darker, you know, gone into that, you know, swampy, you know, depth of Scorpio that it represents basically. We've had, you know, Venus going through Scorpio through October, and then Mercury entered Scorpio in like the middle of October, and now, you know, the sun's here as well as the moon. So new moon, you know, new intentions, resetting the energies. We are basically out of the eclipse season that we've been dealing with for the past, what, like 2-3 months now almost. That's been a very chaotic kind of time, but hopefully whatever changes that has been shifted your life has brought you, I guess, you know, more blessings instead of like chaoticness or just more negativity and stuff like that. Because yes, eclipse seasons can feel very dramatic. It can feel very like out of the ordinary, and just like things like shifting at like us into new state of minds and just new worlds shifting. It can be a lot sometimes for some people, but it's like, it's what it's mainly, you know, there for is to really just like bring better things for our lives, either, you know, for whatever direction we are heading into, or just whatever is best for our life in general. And that involves, you know, everybody in this world, everybody dealing with their own personal stuff, and, you know, and all that stuff. We are basically finishing off this Aries Libra, you know, nodal axis that we have been dealing with since the beginning of 2023, when we had that first solar eclipse in Aries. And then we basically just had the last solar eclipse in Libra, you know, letting all that stuff go. That was a south node eclipse basically. So that was a purging of releasing, you know, no more of that. The chapter is over. The nodes will eventually move into Pisces and Virgo starting in January. So we will talk about that very soon in the next couple months. But so yeah, that was kind of like the whole chapter ending. You know, new storylines are beginning at that point. But yes, as we enter this new moon in Scorpio though, guys, so we are finally out of that window or chapter, you can say, of the eclipses. But as we get into, you know, Scorpio seasons here, the new moons in Scorpio, this is a time to really like dig deep, you know, really shed that skin. You know, it's all about shedding that skin, you know, releasing, transformation, basically just changing in general. It's just like, you know, what's underneath the surface. You know, the moon's in its fall in Scorpio, so this might feel a little uncomfortable, maybe to a point. You might have that really gut instincts that, you know, maybe yucky kind of uncomfortability feelings, but it's like maybe we need that uncomfortability to really shift our perspectives, or just shift our emotions in general as we begin this new lunar cycle. Because like we start the month off in November with a new moon, and then we end the month with another new moon. So whatever happens this whole month will have a little bit of you know, I guess repercussions, you could say, or themes, or whatever you want to call this, like starting off with this Scorpio basically era or month's time, and then we're moving into Sag. So it's like it'll feel a little releasing, it'll feel a little freeing as we get towards the end of the month, as we get into Sag season. But yeah, set intentions, you know, deep dark, you know, let things go, you know, shed skins, stuff like that. So the next thing happening, I just want to just point this out, because we've been building this for quite some time before we move on to the next highlight. Mars is coming into an opposition with Pluto. So they're both at 29 degrees, Cancer and Capricorn. My goodness, my God, has this transit been like one hell of a transit? Like, oh my God, like even coming off of that full moon in Aries in October, that was a very, very heated time. And I mentioned it in my October horoscope that the full moon in Aries was not going to be easy, and it wasn't easy, guys. That stuff was so tough. We had this like grand Earth, not grand Earth, but we had this grand cardinal sign, I should say, where the sun was in Libra, the moon was in Aries, squaring Mars in Cancer, and then going opposite Pluto in Capricorn. Like this, it was very, very chaotic, guys. But just this is heating up, though. This is like basically, I guess, I don't know what the right word is, but it's like really like highlighting, I guess that's the right word, highlighting like this whole month. So this is going to be a very, very like heated point in this month. So just kind of just be careful. Mars in Cancer is not the easiest transit. I've been telling you this since like it's entered Cancer in like September. And, you know, then it went into shadow, and then the momentum started to slow down, and we will still feel this momentum slowing down very, very much. And it gets more and more and more slowed down as we get through November and into December and stuff like that. So kind of just pointing that out. But the second thing is Mercury will ingress into Sagittarius. So Mercury's in Sag. This is where basically like the Mercury retrograde will start to begin, because Mercury will stay in the sign of Sagittarius until like January, I think it is. So like from November, the beginning of November, all the way to, I guess, maybe just like January or something. I don't know exactly what time or what day he leaves, but Mercury's going to be in Sagittarius for a very, very long time. Mercury in Sag. Well, first of all, Mercury is in detriment in the sign of Sagittarius. It doesn't really feel as comfortable being in this sign. Mercury is in a Jupiter-ruled sign. Sagittarius is all about, you know, the bigger picture. It's about the vision. It's philosophy. It's like, you know, that independentness. It's very just spirituality, inspirational. It's a very explorational sign. There's just so many like bigger picture themes when it comes to Sagittarius. And this is the challenge that Mercury has, or I guess you could say could challenge or whatever. Because Mercury is all about the rational mind. It's how we process information and stuff like that. You know, it's how we communicate and stuff like that. But when Mercury's in the sign of Sagittarius, it's really like it has to focus on the bigger picture. It's a very big talker. It's a very philosophical way of expressing stuff. You know, it's very like what's the word? There's that word, preaching. It's a very preacher kind of sign. So if you have Mercury in Sagittarius, you could probably relate to that. It's the preacher, you know. So, and Mercury's gonna be going opposite Jupiter soon. So that's gonna be a weird transit too. So I mean, Venus is already going opposite Jupiter, so that's kind of already like bringing that opposition tension out there. But it's with the two benefics. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but we're going what we're going with. I'm speaking what I'm seeing. So if you can't follow, sorry, but there's a lot to talk about. This is kind of like Mercury and Sag. You know, there's all these big things, and it's like hard to understand sometimes. And it's just like, what? You're saying all this stuff, and I can't follow. So please try to follow as much as you can. But yeah, we'll talk more about Mercury and Sag as it goes on. So the next day, there's like 3 things happening on this day. So first, we brought it up, the Venus opposite Jupiter transit. So Venus opposite Jupiter transit. So Venus is in Sag. She's like trying to have fun. She's trying to just value all this freedom and independence, and just, you know, just trying to just do, I don't know, just explore and have a little bit like it's a very adventurous kind of, you know, theme and energy. She goes opposite Jupiter though, and Jupiter's in Gemini. So, you know, Jupiter just stationed retrograde in October. It was like October 9th. It's stationed at 21 degrees. So it has gone back at least 1 degree so far. Jupiter in Gemini, like I've mentioned many times since it's been in this sign, is in the sign of its detriment. It's in a mercurial sign, so it's in a Mercury ruled sign. And, you know, Mercury over here is in a Jupiter ruled sign. So like I said, there's going to be this opposition happening with these two rulers, and we'll get to that very soon. But so yeah, Jupiter is in retrograde. It's kind of been a little, I guess you could say, difficult to really feel optimistic or philosophical about these like little details or any information that we've been basically perceived or received, I should say, since like May of this year. But Jupiter going retrograde, I feel like could feel a little bit better, because you're basically going back over the information that you have been, I guess, brought, whatever's been brought to your attention and stuff like that. So this is the reviewing part of this transit, which could feel a little easier. You're just we're basically kind of just like, thinking like what information is good, what information can be very beneficial for me in my, long-term goals and my long-term vision and stuff like that. So that's kind of like a whole thing. But Venus opposite Jupiter, these are the two benefic planets. So I would say either this could be a very fun transit, like you're going big or go home, doing whatever it is to have fun or enjoy all the, beneficial things that, Venus and Jupiter bring to the table. But it's an opposition. So that means there could be some tension in, what we value, what we are trying to, I guess, grow into, what we find, very attractive and fun, and just, our philosophical mind isn't really catching up with all this, all these things. I don't know. So, but I don't see this as a bad transit though. I really don't. If it was between other planets, maybe, if it was like Saturn or Mars opposite each other or something like that, it might feel a little bit more heavy. But this is the two benefics. So you could be either having a little bit more too much fun, indulging too much into anything, indulging into more fun than you probably should have, or just, maybe spending a little bit too much, or just kind of going, over the top of everything. But I don't think really this is really going to be a, bad transit in general. I feel like this, when it comes to connections with other people, maybe you're, growing new, new friendships, new connections. This could have some type of I guess kind of fun, meeting new people or something like that. But it could also bring some, I guess, a little bit of tension. I don't know. What I'm seeing here, guys, I don't see this as a bad transit. Just go have fun. I really think that it'll eventually be more positive than it is going to be negative. The only negative side is just don't overdo it. Anything you do when it comes to that stuff. So Sag and Gemini energy, that is a very all over the place kind of energy anyways. I mean, these two signs are very they can be compatible. They could be, they can talk for hours and just kind of heighten each other up and boost up each other's egos and stuff like that. But yeah, so I don't think it'll be a bad transit though. I think just have fun, go meet people, just don't overdo it. That's all I can say. So the second thing that happens is, which I basically mentioned, is Mars going opposite Pluto. So this is where it actually peaks before Mars enters Leo. So Mars opposite Pluto. What more could, I mean, this is the over the top thing. This Venus opposite Jupiter, yes, okay, we can use this. We can use this kind of easier type of energy over this Mars opposite Pluto kind of energy. Mars Pluto oppositions can be very explosive. This can be very, literally lashing out over power struggles, or dealing with powerful people, and just not really, you're feeling more defensive because Mars is in Cancer at this point. It's a very you're feeling crabby, moody if somebody pokes you a certain way or tries to come at you or combat with you, and you're gonna be defensive. You're gonna be on your guard. You're gonna be whoa, don't do that. But I mean, this transit's been building up. We've been dealing with it for most of October. This is where it peaks at basically for this month, and Mars is gonna be at this point opposite Pluto for a very long time, because Mars will enter Leo basically the same day on November 3rd, and we'll get to that in just a sec. And then Pluto will enter Aquarius, still opposite Mars. So it's we're not getting away from this transit until Mars basically leaves Leo, or does this leaves its own retrograde, but that doesn't end until April, guys. So I mean, we're kind of stuck with this transit for a very long time. So just take it easy. Yes, this energy is going to shift from cardinal energy to fixed energy. I don't think that's going to really bring any change anyways when Mars goes into Leo and Pluto goes into Aquarius. So that's going to be a very like stalemate, head on head, like butting heads and stuff. And like, it's just take it easy, guys. I'm not trying to fearmonger anybody, but it's just, we've been feeling this transit, and I'm pretty sure most of us have been feeling like this built up energy, frustrations, like just everything is just not gone our way, and it's been tough. So just take it easy, guys. This is in the background, but we are still definitely feeling this stuff. So, and then Mars basically enters Leo, which is right here. Okay, so Mars is in Leo now. So, one hand, thank God that Mars is out of Cancer. For real, like, I can't stand Mars in Cancer. That's just me. I don't know if I'm pretty sure a lot of astrologers. I'm not saying Mars in Cancer is bad transit. Like, if you have natal Mars in Cancer, that's okay. There's good parts to that. But because Mars has been in Cancer for this long, it's been very challenging in a way, and it's been slowing down, and that's just like, there's just so many things that you could be frustrated at. But there's also good things about this transit. You know, maybe you have been a little bit more protective over your like your personal stuff or your family or just you in general, you know. But Mars is entering Leo, and for all of November, all of December, and I think a little bit in January, Mars will be in Leo. Mars is going to station at 6 degrees of Leo. I've mentioned this probably many times now, but we are finally here, guys. Mars is going to be in this spot for quite some time. So on the one hand, it brings the fire energy, like, and it enhances more of this fire energy. We have Mars in Leo, Mercury's in Sag, the moon's in Sag at this point, and Venus is in Sag. And then following, you know, the sun will eventually get into Sagittarius too, but all of this fire comes back, guys. All of this passionate, emotional energy is like lightened up. So this is like during the holiday season, like it's gonna feel very chaotic, very all over the place, very like hot and go, you know, just, which is kind of nice, I guess, but it, like, you have to just kind of watch yourself. But I don't know, I'm all over the place. I'm just kind of, there's a lot of big things happening. I think it's since like August I've been talking about, like, this is the snowball effect. In September I mentioned this is where it all begins. We got to October, this is where Mars gets into shadow. Now we're in November, and it's like it's in Leo now, so this is where the thing is gonna really start to kick up, and Mars is basically going to slow down eventually as we go through the month of November, and then it stations in December retrograde, and it will be in retrograde from like the beginning of December all the way to the end of February, guys. I hope you guys been following me and like understanding what I've been trying to talk about. So yeah, okay, we'll get to more Mars and Leo in just a second. We gotta move on. Okay, so one good thing happening as Mars is entering Leo, the Sun in Scorpio is forming a trine to Saturn and Pisces, and that's another thing that's a very important theme, I guess, to talk about. Is Saturn is stationing to go direct, and he's basically done with this retrograde since June of this year. So whatever it's been, you know, whatever, we'll get to that in just a sec. The Sun trining Saturn. Okay, whenever the Sun trines an outer planet, that's basically saying, okay, this planet's about to go retrograde or it's about to go direct. Anyways, that's one part of it. The Sun in Scorpio, you know, the Sun's all about, you know, focusing on the more hidden parts of life. It's very like internalizing the energy, you know, because at this point of the year, the light is dying, and we're getting more darkness, basically dominating the days and stuff like that, and the nights are longer, days are shorter, basically. But as the Sun gets into Scorpio, which I probably should have mentioned last month, but I guess I'll, you know, mention it now, is all about like internalizing your energy, you know, kind of consuming as much energy like as you can, because we know that we are going towards winter at this point, so the energy is going to be a little bit cooler. You know, this is when the plants and trees and stuff like that start to shed their leaves. That's another thing, it starts to internalize all of this energy down to its roots, basically. So it's a very deep kind of energy. Sun in Scorpio, or just any Scorpio in general, you know, can be very mysterious. It can be very secretive, very just trying to figure out what's under the surface. Yes, it's a fixed sign, so it's not very changeable. It's not really going anywhere. It's trying to hold as much energy as it can as we basically go through this time. So having the Sun trine Saturn in Pisces could bring a level of you know, more discipline, more maturing kind of energy in what you are trying to maybe work towards. Like maybe if you're focusing on long-term goals, working with authorities, or any plans that you are trying to build for your future, maybe making a more emotionally structured kind of way. And it's going to be very beneficial because it's a trine, so there's people on your side. Maybe if you're working with other people, Scorpio is a relationship sign, I should say, followed by Libra, but it can be very, like I said, it can be very beneficial towards your long-term energy, your long-term goals. Working with authority figures, you can basically like relate to on a deep emotional level and stuff like that. Like that's kind of how I would say that transit. Okay, and then the next important thing is, when is it? Okay, I think it's this day. Yeah, okay, so Mercury is entering shadow. So here we go with more of this personal planet retrograde we are basically in. So we are no longer in any like free, you know, forward movement kind of personal, you know, energy and stuff like that. I mean, ever since Mars entered shadow on October 4th, that was kind of like the end of like, you know, no more personal like forward movement plans getting made and stuff like that. Like go, 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 go. We're done with that. You know, now this is an extra layer of like just like sitting back and just kind of, we got to review like a few things before we can jump forward and, you know, with any plans that we want. So we get this Mercury retrograde beginning at this point, 6 degrees of Sag. So, you know, if you have any mutable placements in Sag, Virgo, Gemini, or Pisces, this transit could affect you. It can be more challenging, but it's a Mercury retrograde, so we got to expect a little chaoticness. But like I said, it's all about reviewing. Mars just entered Leo, about to stop. This is a very like high-end point of like, we need to like hold up and, you know, start to go back and, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, guys. I know this video is gonna be very long, even though I didn't want it to, but there's a lot to talk about. Sorry, guys. Okay, so yeah, Mercury enters shadow at 6 degrees of Sag on November 7th. Pay attention, because this is where things will start to begin with the retrograde stuff. Okay, we're moving on. Let's see. Venus is forming a square to Neptune. That's the next highlight. So Venus squared Neptune. Venus is in Sag. She's like, yes, I want to go out there. I'm very external. You know, I value this adventurous type of theme. I just want to do this. I want to do that. I'm very adventurous and just blah 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 blah. But when it comes into a square with Neptune, this is going to bring a challenge. And what I would say is like, Venus is all about, you know, love, pleasures, what we like, what's enjoyable, what we attract and stuff like that, you know, relationships in general, and just, you know, enjoying stuff and like all that stuff. When it's in a tense aspect to Neptune, so this can really, I guess, challenge our relationships. We won't probably see everything so clearly when it comes to relating to anybody. There might be a little bit of deception, like some illusions in some type of way. We might feel like we're, you know, fantasizing about or idealizing about certain relationships or certain things that we want to value in relationships, but there's going to be that challenge of like, I don't know if this feels right. So kind of listen to your gut instincts around this time, around like the 9th or whatever of November, but that's kind of like the negative side. But that's gonna be the challenge though. Like Neptune is not going to bring a lot of clarity. Like it never does, basically. It it has that idealistic, spiritual kind of like out of this world type of vibe. And yeah, Neptune is a generational planet, so it's a very focused on the collective like energy and how people are acting and stuff like that. So anything to do with like social media, maybe there's, you know, maybe you're kind of getting into, I don't know, just a lot of fantasy and dream-like stuff. Like there's going to be stuff that you might be fantasizing about that might not be good, but you know, you just have to, I guess, know what you're getting into, I would say. So even if it's online or in person, just kind of watch out. But on the positive side of this transit, this can give you a lot more creativity in how you express fun, how you express your love, maybe shifting your perspective on who you want to relate to and how you are relating to. So like I said, your intuition, focus on that. Focus on shifting your perspective and creating new ways of like relating to other people. That's kind of how I would say. And then the next highlight is Venus is going into Capricorn. So she's leaving Sagittarius, she's entering a new sign. Venus in Capricorn is interesting. So having Venus coming from this very, you know, free loving, you know, adventurous, free loving, adventurous type of energy and stuff like that. You know, having a little bit of fun, just kind of doing whatever feels right, you know, going out there. She goes into Capricorn. This is where she grounds herself. She comes back to earth. She comes back to reality. What does she value while she's in Capricorn? Well, Venus, like I said, love, relationships, value, what we attract, affection, what's enjoyable and stuff like that. When she's in the sign of Capricorn, it's like she's very focusing on, she's valuing like this is kind of like a business kind of type of woman, like a woman in business. Think about that. You know, like a clean cut kind of you know, business type woman. She values that responsibility. She values that you know, that I guess the realistic structured type of vibe to it. You know, it's like she's not really so emotional. She could probably be more detached on what she wants or how she gets there. There's layers to this though, guys. I mean, I guess we can continue to talk about it if I think about anything else, but like Venus in Cap, yeah, she wants to like value that respect, basically. Like I feel like people who have this have like a very high standards in like what they value in relationships or just relating to anybody in general. So yeah, Venus in Cap is fun. Is basically kind of like having a little bit of fun with like the rules of that we basically obligate with or we go by. So yeah, you know, it's gonna be a little fun, but it's gonna bring a little bit, I guess, a little bit of fun to like the seriousness that Capricorn brings, that actually what Capricorn represents basically. So have a little fun playing by the rules, guys. Like this is kind of like your invitation to do that. Yes, kind of have still that the responsible, mature like type of energy when it comes to like, you know, the Capricorn theme, and you know, having as Venus goes into this sign, yeah, you know, it could be a little fun at times, guys. You know, maybe just, you know, being a little clean cut and business type or whatever. I don't know. That's kind of how I see it, guys. I'm sure many people have their different perspectives on Venus and Cap, but we got to move on. So Mercury is coming into a square with Saturn, and this is the point of the middle of the month as we are getting you know, Saturn basically stationing direct at this time. So this Mercury's probably going to be making a few other squares to Saturn as this transits you know, goes on. So Mercury in Sag, you know, this is all about basically, you know, focusing on the more philosophical you know, views and like idealizing, you know, all of our visions and stuff like that, and trying to look at the bigger picture. It's a very external type of energy. That's what Sag is. This is a Jupiter-ruled sign. The other side of this is Saturn and Pisces. This is the other Jupiter-ruled sign, and this is where Saturn's at. So yeah, on one hand, this can be like hitting a wall, getting like a serious no, or any blocks coming like into your plans or whatever from an authority figure or someone in power, is really challenging you to really like say, you know, because Saturn is in this internal type of world that we are trying to discipline ourselves of who we are internally. It's trying to test our faith and how we deal with like what's beyond our control, and how do we get there with, you know, with these limits, you know, because it's like Pisces is all about this like outer world, spiritual kind of just like loosey-goosey, just kind of all over the place type of vibe. But as Saturn's been transiting this sign of Pisces, it's brought limits, it's brought restrictions. It says, you know, yes, there can be fun, or so to say fun or whatever. There can be, you know, times where we can feel like we're like all hope is lost and stuff like that, or, you know, we're not following faith in general at this point. But like Saturn wants us to have that knowing that there will be, I guess, light at the end of the tunnel, basically. It's kind of like that. Think of it as like that. And Saturn's about to basically go station direct to move forward and leave the sign of Pisces and go into the sign of Aries by next summer, which is crazy at this point, because it feels like Saturn's been in Pisces for a very long time. But yeah, this challenge between Mercury squaring Saturn, yes, there's gonna be some tense tense energy. I can't even spit it out. Tense energy when it comes to our long-term goals, how we need to get there, and, you know, how we go from point A to point B. But, you know, there's obstacles in the way. There's you know, reasons why we need to basically maneuver all around these certain plans in order to get to where we want to go. So that's kind of how I see it. Like, look at it as that. Yes, it's gonna feel annoying. You're gonna be like, why isn't things working my way? Why do I keep getting a no and stuff like that? But, you know, there's reasons to it. But it's like, challenge yourself. This is what Saturn is. Saturn is not an easy planet to handle. It is probably one of the toughest transits, or I wouldn't say the toughest, but it's tough enough to really like show us like what we need in life and what we need to grow into. We need these hard lessons in order to understand the rewards that are required as we get through this. So basically, at the same time, Saturn is stationing direct. So let's get to that, because that's basically going up to the full moon in Taurus. Where are we at? Okay, it's on the 15th. Okay. lot to talk here, guys. Lot of things to talk about right here. Okay. So Saturn direct. Okay, so how has your life, I guess, really changed? What responsibilities have you understood, either way, since like June of 2024? That's when Saturn stationed retrograde, I should say. And then it's like, okay, now we have to review all this stuff that's been going on. But if you look at the bigger picture, what has been going on in your life since February of 2024? Because that's when Saturn entered 12 degrees, where it's at right now, back at the beginning of this year. And that's from 12 degrees to, I think, 19 degrees of Pisces is this point of Saturn's going back in retrograde, area. So think about what's been going on in your life since February. What responsibilities did you have to take on? How have you structured your life since then? You know, how have you matured and grown since that point in time? You know, what have you had to take on since the beginning of this year? Because when we got to June of 2024, that's when like things had to like, okay, now we need to review these responsibilities in order to implement a more realistic outcome of what we need for our long-term goals and stuff like that. So think back about that stuff, guys. How has your life changed since, the February of 2024? Because at this point, we're back at that point, and we're like, okay, now we understand, why we need to go back and understand, like, try to like implement these realistic responsibilities, and we need to create a more better structured, structure for our lives. Now we can move forward from all that stuff. Saturn going direct. It's like, okay, we're reviewing a test. Okay, think of it as that. It's like maybe you're in school or whatever. You're reviewing a test, And then that's kind of like the point where Saturn's in shadow from February to June, basically. That was the review test. And then when Saturn went to retrograde in June, that was like, okay, now here's your test. Take the test, and see how you do. And that's kind of like the point of like, okay, now it's on our terms to like really understand what we reviewed, what do we need to do from this point to this on. And then as we basically finish the test, so to say, Saturn's direct. It's like, okay, now you've done the test. Now let's do kind of like another review of like what we've been dealing with since February of 2024. Kind of a weird, I guess, analogy, but that's a really great analogy to understand Saturn's position of going direct, going retrograde, the test that it brings, and all that stuff. Big stuff, guys. We're coming up to this full moon in Taurus, though. So this is the middle of the month, the peak period of the month. Energy's high, full moon, it's all that stuff. The sun is basically going opposite Uranus at this point, too. So let's get to the point, what is it, 24 degrees. So 24 degrees of Taurus. But basically Uranus is combined with this transit of the full moon. So there's going to be some type of disruption. There's going to be a little bit of volatile and chaoticness when it comes to this energy and stuff like that. So, but yeah, full moon Taurus, like that's the only thing I would really say is because Uranus is mixed up with this. Yes, there might be a little bit of, chaoticness and stuff like that, but shouldn't be that bad. Yeah, and like emotions will be running high on top of all this stuff because of like Uranus's like chaoticness or out of the blue kind of stuff. A wrench coming into getting thrown in your plans. Like, what? Didn't see that coming. Unexpectedness. So just kind of have that perception, that knowledge that something might not work the way that you're wanting it to. So just kind of have that in mind. But yeah, the sun opposite Uranus. All these planets going opposite Uranus over the last month has been kind of disruptive in general. Venus went opposite Uranus in October. That was kind of like shaking up our relationships. Then Mercury went over opposite Uranus. That was like kind of a mental battle, digging things up from the ground. And then just like coming out of the blue, either, unexpectedly you find something, you discover a new way of like communicating, or whatever gets thrown into your plans kind of like helps you out in a way. But now that the sun is going opposite Uranus, yes, this is Uranus's halfway point during its retrograde. But yeah, things are probably going to get, out of hand a little bit. Emotions are going to be running high, so just kind of take it easy. I wouldn't say not the biggest thing in the world, but so, and then they're kind of connecting to Neptune as well. Like the sun's going trining Neptune, so, and then the moon and Uranus are sextiling Neptune, so that could help, bring a little bit more of like, what you're focusing on, like, I guess, like when it comes to like fantasies or dreams or just anything idealistically, it can help. I don't know. That's something to look out. Okay, and then we get to the Mercury opposite Jupiter, which happens, what do I have of this 18th? Okay, the 18th. Okay, all right, yeah. So, and then I basically talked about, the sun coming into a trine with Neptune, but we got to talk about this Mercury opposite Jupiter first. So this is the first out of 3 Mercury opposite Jupiter, transits. So this is a weird transit, like I was saying earlier this in the video. So, like, Mercury is in Sagittarius. Jupiter is in Gemini. Mercury is in a Jupiter-ruled sign. Jupiter is in a Mercury-ruled sign. So these two planets are in each other's opposite signs, but they're contacting each other. So this is like a mutual reception, but there's tense energy, push-pull oppositions coming at it. It's weird. Kind of a weird mental, breakdown, as you can think of. Because, like, as in this, like, for instance, Jupiter retrograde and, well, just Jupiter and Gemini, I should say, it's a little weird. You're gaining all this information. It's trying to focus on little details. It's trying to have us focus on little details. And, it's kind of hard to understand, because it's kind of hard to be optimistic when we're, you know, put in this position where we are needing to needing to focus on, you know, what information is we are being processed, you know, what's working for us and what's not working for us. On the other hand, it's basically the same thing happening in Mercury and Sagittarius. Mercury is all about the little things, you know, the details of communication, information, but it's in Sag, it's in the, it's being forced to be optimistic. It's being forced to, like, see the bigger picture and understand what's beyond the little, you know, the little details and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, we'll probably talk more about this, because I believe he goes opposite Jupiter next month. I thought it was this month too, but I guess this is the first of 3. So, like, yeah, this is gonna be a weird transit. We'll come back to this eventually and talk more about it during, like, the reviewing stage of when Mercury is in retrograde. But yeah, so weird transit, guys. It's weird, but it's, like, good, because they're both, you know, contacting each other, but they're opposite each other. I don't know, it's been a weird transit. I've been looking at this and I'm like, what? This is kind of weird, but kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. It's a little different, guys, but mental breakdowns, mental information, your optimism might be a little off. You're trying to be philosophical and, you know, seek information, seek higher information, but then little lower, like, all this information details is, like, it's just it's like a mental overload on information and stuff like that. That's kind of how I would say this transit. So I don't know, it's weird, I know. Okay, and then the sun basically makes a trine to Neptune. Not the biggest thing in the world. I mean, the sun in Scorpio, you know, focusing on the deep emotional parts of life, trying to dig deep and understand little things or whatever, like what's beyond the surface. Connecting with Neptune is just idealizing just spiritual stuff, like focusing on your fantasies or your dreams or anything to just get you lost in the sauce, basically. That's basically, I would say. It's not the biggest thing, but it's on our side. You know, it's a very easy flowing transit. Here we go, guys. Where is it at? Boom. Here we go, guys. This is what I was saying about Pluto going back into Aquarius. There's so much to talk about here, guys. Like, I know this video is already longer than it probably I was trying to plan on it be, but there's just so much to talk about. But Pluto is done with Capricorn. Let me just repeat that one more time, guys. I don't think you heard me. Pluto is done with Capricorn. What? So, like, for the last 16 years, Pluto's been transiting the sign of Capricorn. And like I said in the last month, like, as soon as Pluto stationed direct in Capricorn, that's it. We're done. We're done with this old stuff, old, like, Capricorn, old ways of doing stuff. Pluto has been flowing back and forth from Aquarius to Capricorn, since last, like, spring, November, like, not November, like 2023, like the spring of 2023. That's when it first entered Aquarius, and then went back into Capricorn for most of the rest of the year. And then this year in, like, January, it went back into Aquarius, and then it stayed there until, what was it, September, I think it was, and then it went back into Capricorn. And then here we are, where Pluto is not going back into Capricorn for, like, another 240 years or whatever, 48 or 45 or whatever the heck it is. We are fully into Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years, 2 decades, guys. Remember that. We are finally here. We are on to the future, basically. Innovation, like futuristic stuff. The power is going back to humanity, like the people. That is going to be the focus of it. Yes, Pluto is about digging things up from the surface that are hidden. So yeah, we're going to continue seeing, like, a lot of, like, uncomfortable secrets coming from maybe, like, groups of people, society in general. So that's the one thing to, like, really look for over this period of time. Yeah, you know, we've seen AIs basically dominating the world at this point. So this is gonna continue. There's gonna be, like, a revolutionary theme, I guess, that comes with, like, AI, or just, you know, people coming together and just, like, I guess, standing up for like whatever it is that they believe in or something like that. Because the last time Pluto entered, was transiting this sign of Aquarius, was in like 1770s to like 1790 or something like that. Very, very long time. That was like during the American Revolution, like Revolutionary War, the French Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, all that kind of like revolutionary stuff. You know, that was a huge, huge time in modern. Well, I wouldn't say modern history, just history in general. But we will be experiencing like a modern day revolution. You know, whatever that is going to be. I can't tell you exactly, but I can tell you little themes like I said, with AI, or, you know, the power going back to the people and just coming together and changing the way that we, I guess, deal with society and just what we do in general. So, but like I said, and kind of I think it was like earlier in this video, Pluto is going into Aquarius. The next thing is Neptune is going into Aries by the end of March of next year. And then we get to May of 2025, and that's when Saturn enters Aries. And then June of 2025, Jupiter will enter Cancer. And then a month later in July, Uranus is moving into Gemini. That is like probably the most rarest time that we are probably going into next year, that we probably will experience for a very, very long time, guys. Like, I followed a lot of other astrologers, and they haven't really said, you know, they've been focusing on this point. They've said, like, this is going to be a very, like, changeable time. Like, it's a very, like, very prominent time that we are moving into. Like, the old stuff is done. We are moving into new territory from this point on. And basically until, like as soon as we get to 2026, we are fully locked into this new reality, guys. So just prepare yourself. Like, if you want to change your life or want to do better things for your life, this is the time to do it. And 2025 will be the year of change. This was like, I'm just saying, like, it's gonna be huge, guys. Anyways, so yeah, Pluto will be there for the next 20 years, and then so then the sun. No, I already did that. Okay, yeah, the sun's going into Sag. So Sag season is here. The sun's in Sag. You know, this is the point in time where, you know, everything's done with Scorpio. We're entering a more, you know, freedom, adventurous type of vibe and stuff like that. That's where the focus is. You know, I believe this is the point near Thanksgiving. So, you know, that's the point to really, like, kind of come together, you know, feel inspired by, you know, just grateful, you know, express gratitude with your family, spend time with family. This is kind of like the holiday season where it starts to kick off. You know, spend time with people that you actually feel grateful for and stuff like that. You know, show your gratitude. But that's kind of like the whole Sag energy anyways. I mean, like, it's going beyond, you know, it's going bigger, go home, basically. You know, I don't know, like, it's a very outgoing sign. It's a fire sign. It's very optimistic. It's you know, very independent. You know, a little bit of a small part, I guess you could say, is, you know, it's about religion and stuff like that. Pisces and Sagittarius are Jupiter ruled signs, and it has that religious base to it if you're into that. But just all about, you know, philosophies and just spirituality and just feeling inspired and stuff like that. So, but yeah, you know, it's all about expansion. It's all about expansion at this point in time, guys. So Sag season is here. You know, happy birthday to all the Sages. You know, I'm with you. I'm a Sag. My birthday's actually coming up in the next couple of days. So, yo. Just kidding. All right. So the next thing, is Venus is coming into a sextile with Saturn, which happens the next day, or it's kind of during the same point. So the 21st, 22nd, around that time. So Venus sextiles Saturn. So Venus is in a Saturn-ruled sign of Capricorn. So Venus is being contacted by its ruler. And Saturn is in a place where Venus is exalted in. So this, I would basically say, is kind of like a mutual reception. You know, they're in two places of rulership swapped together. So they're in other rulership, but they're in like each other's signs of rulership, but they're contacting each other. this is a good, easy flowing sextile. It's not the biggest thing in the world. It's a sextile. It's a very small gesture. Venus and Cap, like I said, is all about valuing this responsible type of vibe. It's trying to be very mature. It's trying to value, all this just a very clean cut, structured, having fun with the rules and stuff like that, being maybe a little flirty in a way that's kind of like a business type of way. I don't know, just another type, another thing that I could say. But sextiling Saturn, it's giving good vibes of dealing with authority figures, feeling a little bit more mature. This is a weird it's not weird, but it's a really nice transit, dealing with your responsibilities, how you're structuring your life. It's giving you a little boost of confidence of how you're feeling, or boosting up your ego in a little bit. Okay. Another thing that I like to talk about Venus and Saturn is seriousness, serious commitments and stuff like that. So this could help any commitments or seriousness when it comes to relations or relating to others, or just trying to build stronger bonds between other people, or just what you value or your long-term goals and stuff like that, is really just kind of giving you a little opportunity to just boost that up a bit, bring it up a notch. It's pretty nice though. And then as that is happening, the sun is making a sextile to Pluto. That's also boosting up our ego, basically. That's it's a very powerful kind of like I said, leveling up, boosting up your ego, boosting up your confidence. The sun is in Sag, Pluto's in Aquarius. This is all about free flow and just going out there. I like that. There's these two little sextiles are really feeling very easy and boosting up our confidence and ego and how we feel at this point, I would say. Very powerful and empowering kind of energy. And then we get to the day, which is actually the 25th of November. Let me just get to the exact moment. Okay. So Mercury is stationing retrograde on November 25th. That is my birthday, actually. So that's going to be an interesting birthday to have this year. Having Mercury stationing on my birthday, what? But yeah, okay. Mercury is going retrograde, so 22 degrees of Sag. It's going to be going back all the way to 6 degrees, so going backwards, back to 6 degrees, guys. So Mercury retrograde, yeah. Delays. Things are not going to start, moving forward. We're going to have to review anything, all of this big picture information that's Mercury and Sag, that we have been brought up to, whatever. Mercury is basically still opposite of Jupiter at this point. So yeah, there's this information overload kind of happening at this point. So, but yeah, Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, reviewing all of this philosophical information, big picture stuff, it's happening. I believe he stations direct, maybe middle of December, so kind of, it's all right. It's only a few weeks. We'll get past it. And then basically the sun is coming into a trine with Mars, and look at Mars is at 5 degrees. He only has one more degree to go before he stops completely. But like I said earlier, when the sun trines an outer planet, that means it's either going to go retrograde or go direct. And at this point, Mars is about to go retrograde. So, but look at this. This is a very fiery, hot, sexy, I would say, energy. This is just boom, go out there, boost up your ego and stuff like that. Mars is in the Leo, which is ruled by the sun, and the sun's in Sag. Leo and Sag energy, that's some big stuff right there. That is go big or go home kind of type of stuff. But yeah, Mars is about to station retrograde. This is basically letting us know hey, the sun's shining Mars, it's about to stop, it's about to do its thing. So let's kind of pay attention to this point in time, because we're at the end of the month. This is not this is not the time to really go out there and do all your plans. Like I said, yes, it might feel a little chaotic because this is kind of during the holiday season, And as we get into December, it might feel a little chaotic because we're going to have Mars and Mercury in retrograde. That's all I can say about that. It's just that big sigh. Like, every time Mars and Mercury go retrograde, guys, that I've experienced in the past, I guess, couple of years or whatever, it's a lot. It's a lot to handle, guys. It's going to be a lot. I mean, at least they're both in fire signs, which is kind of good, at least for certain people. I wouldn't say everybody, because it's going to be a little chaotic no matter what it is. But yeah, so Mars and Mercury are going basically retrograde. So just kind of hold up, hold your horses about a lot of stuff, guys. This stuff is not easy, but it's what we have to deal with. But it's all good, guys, because this is just a time to just really get your ducks in a row and really set everything in order for you to basically have everything that you need before moving forward. And we will get to that point. We will definitely get there, guys. It is just, there's a few things that we have to deal with before we get there. And yes, so just take it easy. We'll continue this trend, as we get into December. We'll talk more about the Mars retrograde and stuff like that, and just how it goes, back into Cancer and stuff. But yeah, as we end the month, a new moon in Sagittarius. So this will feel a little freeing, a little bit, I guess, a little better. Having all this stuff going into Sagittarius, it's gonna feel good. It might feel a little chaotic. Usually Sagittarius season in general is all over the place in general. Like I said, that's kind of where the holiday season begins too. So even if Sagittarius wasn't in the holiday season, even if we didn't have any holidays in Sagittarius or near the holiday season, it would still feel a little chaotic and spiraling all over the place. You have so many directions. It's the arrow. Look at my shirt. It's the centaur shooting its arrow, beyond any perception that we have on this 3D level, but we have that vision. That's all about Sagittarius, is all about the vision of what we can see before it actually happens. And that's one thing I love about Sag. I'm a Sag. I have 4 placements in Sag, so I'm all about that. I have Sun, Mercury, Pluto, and my ascendant is in Sagittarius. So I am all about this. This is why I do this. My talk show, my astrology, stuff like that. That's just my point of view, though. But so yeah, we end the month with the new moon in Sagittarius. So yeah, set those intentions of Sagittarius. Going out there, beyond, exploring, adventurous, and stuff like that. So that's November, guys. That's a really interesting month. Yeah, we're gonna go in the horoscopes section of this video. It's been about an hour so far, so let's just kind of finish with these horoscopes as quickly as possible. But yeah, so that's November, guys. Very interesting month. I was very passionate to really talk about this month because it's just awesome. I love talking about this stuff. It's interesting. It's just so cool. So yeah. Okay, 1 second. Okay. So, if you are enjoying this video, please like, share, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the overview. I am very excited to talk about the horoscopes just as much. And we'll go through all the important transits that we just talked about, but showing the house placements of where these transits will be happening in. So, starting with Aries. This new moon in Scorpio is happening in your 8th house. So, set intentions, kind of reset the energies to do with Scorpio or 8th house themes, which is basically, a very transformative inheritance, death, rebirth type of energy. Maybe focusing on paying off debts, being an asset to other people, maybe using other resources in order to, either help you out or help other people out, combining your joint finances together with other people or with a partner, or just combining your any joint ventures that you and a partner want to proceed and, you know, go towards. So yeah, it's in a water sign still, so it might feel a little bit drowning towards your fire placements, but as these planets go into fire signs, you will start to feel lightened up. You will start to feel that energizing, fiery type of energy that will boost like your confidence up, your ego up, who you really are, and stuff like that for you, Aries. So for the fire signs, it's coming. So yeah, so set those intentions, you know, even if you're trying to refinance anything, doing something with like mortgage or like your car, or just anything to do with like money in general, paying off debts, using other resources to help you out, or just trying to inherit stuff, inherent resources, inherent money, inherent just any intimacy, like, I mean, not really intimate, like bring, not in hand, oh my gosh, I can't even talk. You might feel more intimate with the partner too. That's what I'm trying to say. You might be focusing on the psychological connections of getting a little bit more deeper, because the 7th and 8th house are about relationships. 7th house is about one-on-one connections, contracts, and stuff like that. 8th house is basically deepening those relationships, the contracts that you are dealing with. So very interesting point of view. So okay, so the next thing is Mercury is going into your 9th house. Like I said, it's moving into a fire sign. You are going to feel that fire coming back. So Mercury entering your 9th house in general, this is really focusing on like the higher mind, learning any philosophical stuff on top of like the Sagittarius, which is basically double Sag energy. 9th house is ruled by Sag, and you know, this is where your 9th house placement is. So anything to do with like foreign, like it's the mind, it's Mercury, it's what you're like what you're consuming, like the information in, it's what you're learning, it's what you're speaking. You could be teaching something, you could be you know, presenting something from like a bigger point of view, which, you know, relates to foreign, any like foreign cultures or any languages or just anything, any philosophical stuff. You know, you could be like preaching more religious stuff if you're into that stuff. That's another thing that I'd say. Taking care of any like legal matters if that is what you are dealing with. But anything to do with like academics, going back to school, learning higher education, maybe trying to get a higher degree, any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, just that'll be very interesting. I think that'll really feel passionate, bring your passion back when all these planets go into Sagittarius for you. So just be on the lookout for that. One thing I think I'll mention for most of the signs is Mars going opposite Pluto. So Mars is in your 4th, going opposite Pluto in your 10th. So this is like 4th house and 10th house. You might be feeling very protective and guarded of your personal life, your personal home life, your family, and all that stuff. And maybe you're coming across like you know, getting oppositions or power struggles with people in authorities, like in your career. Like I said, people in authorities, other people in your public life may be kind of coming at you like head on or something like that. It might feel a little very, you know, power struggle in general and stuff. So just kind of take it easy when it comes to that. I'm sure you'll be able to protect your, you know, living situation, your property, or what, like your internal instincts and stuff. So, and then Mars goes into your 5th house, and that's bringing more of that fire energy back to you, Aries. Like you are going to love all these planets going in, all into the fire signs. So is all the other fire signs, Sagittarius and even Leo. They're going to enjoy it. But yeah, 5th house though, this is about passions. This is about, you know, your inner child, entrepreneurship, being playful, what's pleasurable, what's attractive, what's like your dating life might increase in a little bit, because Mars is slowing down and stationing direct. But it's giving you that like opening a new door to like this area of life for you. You might feel inspired. You might just, you know, think about your bucket list and what you want to go after and do and chase and stuff like that. There might be a little bit of drama, so kind of watch out on that too. But yeah, Romantic life might increase a little bit. Your desires will feel passionate about that stuff. And then Mercury enters shadow. I will talk about that through all the signs. Mercury enters shadow. Come back to this point later on, I think in like December or whatever. So in your 9th house. So think about this 9th house theme that I just mentioned about Mercury, you know, the information that you're processing as Mercury enters your 9th house. You're going to come back to this. This is going to be the point to review certain things, certain higher educational like information, philosophical themes that you're going to have to come back and understand maybe twice. Like it's kind of like a test for you. You know, you got to learn about the test, you got to take the test, and then you take it again and you try to review all this stuff that you learned. So just think about that. Okay, next thing is Venus is going into Cap. So Venus and Cap, Venus is entering your 10th house. So what I say about Venus in the 10th house is you are basically going to want to value more respect from other people in your public life, people in your career. You know, you're going to want to feel, you're going to want to, you might actually achieve or attract more achievements as Venus travels through your 10th house. So yeah, you're going to kind of put on this like, this business type of vibe. You know, you're going to feel a little bit more, you know, playful in the, you know, in your career, maybe, you know, playing by the rules, having fun with the rules and stuff like that. You're going to want to feel respected in a way. So yeah, it could really beautify and make it a little easier to deal with like anything to do with your public life. Okay, and then Saturn stations direct, Saturn stations direct in your 12th house. So maybe having Saturn in your 12th house, Aries, hasn't really felt easy. I mean, Saturn finds its joy in the 12th house. It loves to be in the 12th house because it has that distance. It has like all of this like subconscious like kind of boundaries, just like, not really boundaries because it's kind of like in this boundless world. It's in the backdrop, it's in behind the scenes and stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of like the Saturn energy in general. That's why it has that distance. It's the farthest planet that we could see actually with our eyes. Anything beyond Saturn is, you know, unseen basically. But what have you, I guess, understood when it comes to responsibilities, how you're maturing yourself when it comes to like mental health, spirituality, I guess in general, how like just knowing your boundaries of like not going too far. Like if you've been dealing with any addictions or anything like that, like I feel like Saturn has helped you in that way because that kind of comes back to the mental health state of mind. But yeah, that's kind of like what's been hidden, like your blind spots, anything to do with like addictions or just like suffering or anything like that. Like I feel like Saturn might have helped you like understand like you can't go for you know, past this limit. You know, you have to be mature and like kind of, you know, sober up basically when it comes to these things. So that's a huge thing. But just think about what's been happening this year for you when it comes to like Saturnian themes. And then we have the full moon in Taurus. So full moon, wait, hold on, I'm way past this. Okay, right here actually. Full moon in Taurus, it's in your 2nd house. So something in your 2nd house is being illuminated. You know, 2nd house, money, values, personal values, your income, your work ethic, what you've been investing in, your priorities, security, you know, stuff like that, possessions. There's a culmination happening right now. Uranus is in the mix of this transit, so it's kind of shaken up a little bit. It might shake up your values, shake up your spendings and savings and stuff like that. You know, maybe it's a very liberating feeling, maybe it's a disrupting kind of feeling when it comes to what you own and stuff like that. So maybe take it easy if there's a push-pull thing, because the sun's in your 8th house, dealing with other people's money, and this is your money. So it's like other people's money, your money. It's kind of like tug and pull, like it's a head-on collision basically. But something is being eliminated. Maybe you haven't seen, maybe it'll shake you up and actually get you a better, secure like possessions of what you own or something like that. I don't know, something like that could be very shooken up or, you know, freedom like, so liberating. And then Pluto goes into your 11th house. So it's done in your 10th house. It's gone. All of that stuff has been complete. It's fully moving into your 11th house of, friendships, opportunities, abundance, just groups and people, groups of like working with groups of people, a bunch of people. That is going to be where you are either uncovering certain themes, or that's where the power will lead you by working with other people, networking with friends, or just networking with colleagues, or just gaining all of these new aspirations and stuff like that. So that is a very interesting thing. I guess we'll continue talking about that, but Pluto is fully done with Capricorn. It's in your 11th house. And then the sun will ingress into Sag. You like that. That's going to really bring more fire to you, Aries. Cool. We love that. Philosophical stuff, going beyond, whatever it is, exploring, do all the fun stuff. So, and then Mercury stations retrograde, which basically I was talking about, like the whole thing, like, reviewing all of this philosophical, higher education, stuff like that. Yeah, that's going to be the whole theme for most of this month and as we get into December. And then we get to the new moon in Sag, which is completing this cycle this month. New moon, set intentions, all that fun stuff. All right. Okay. All right. For Tauruses, this new moon this new moon in Scorpio is happening in your 7th house. So this is all focusing on other people, relationships, contracts, agreements, commitments, all of that stuff. You are setting new intentions, refreshing this type of energy for this area of life for you, Tauruses. So, maybe it's in your opposite sign. So maybe there's oppositions happening, butting heads with you, and there might bring some challenges, but maybe it's not. There's two sides of the story. There's two sides of a coin. This could either be, you setting new intentions to actually bring more balance with you and other people, or just how you're, I guess, working with other people. How are these contracts kind of helping you out? Because there's two sides. Anyways, the next thing is Mercury is going into your 8th house. So Mercury is going to be in this sign for quite some time for you. So just kind of get comfortable. Mercury's in detriment at this point, but Mercury in the 8th house is really focusing on deepening these connections that you have with the relationships. It's probably going to be focusing on more intimate connections, philosophical ways. On top of that, it'll be focusing on like psychology and stuff like that, like just kind of how you can inherit a bunch of stuff when it comes to like other resources, trying to pay off debts, working with other people's money, and how it can benefit you and how you can help them and be a good asset to them or something like that. Maybe you're trying to refinance a house or a car, or doing all that fun stuff like money and stuff. But yeah, this is all about basically like it's going to be like a death or rebirth type of energy, transformational time. When Mercury goes retrograde, it's going to go back over, and review all this stuff. So just kind of prepare yourself. That's kind of the whole theme. And then Mars goes into your 4th house of Leo. So Mars is out of Cancer for just a small minute. And it's going into your 4th house. So Mars going into your 4th house will really focus on, basically kind of protecting your home life, but it could also bring a little bit of drama. Excuse me. It could also, just bring, give you more of like just being on guard, when it comes to your instincts, your property, just protecting family, protecting your maternal instincts. Maybe you will have this desire to really like protect in a bold way. Mars is in Leo now. Now Mars might, it's squaring your 1st house of Taurus, but like it'll bring more of like a challenge. Might bring some intensity to this transit, but yeah, you're gonna have to focus on your intuition when it comes to just like You know, maybe doing things around the house, maybe just feeling kind of protective and stuff like that, doing bold things around with your family or just in general, I don't know, something like that. So yeah. Okay, next thing happening is Mercury is entering shadow, which basically happens you know, around the 7th or whatever. So Mercury will come back to this point in time eventually, but yeah, so just kind of pay attention. This is where the reviewing starts. So whatever information you are connecting with other people, these contracts, these deeper connections, this psychological stuff, you're gonna have to like start to really pay attention, because things might not go your way, and you're gonna have to. There will be delays in this point in time for you guys. And then Venus will go into Cap. That will feel pretty good for you, Tauruses. Bringing back the Earth sign, that will flow easier for you. Venus going into your 9th house is just really valuing, you know, more exploration, maybe going beyond your limits. Like I said, kind of like a little bit of an adventurous type of energy, like expanding your horizons, but having this like grounded feeling, being clean cut, you know, just maybe discovering new people, or just new like different foreign people that you are attracting. Like either if it's foreign people, you're attracting foreign languages, or any type of culture that is different from yours will be very attractive. And I think that should flow easy. I mean, it's going into Capricorn, making a trine to your Taurus house, so that should be cool. And then Saturn is going direct. So Saturn direct in your 11th house. I mean, so think about all the responsibilities that you've been, you know, handling since the beginning of this year. You know, the 11th house is about, you know, group activities, working with groups of people, opportunities, friendships, your hopes and dreams, like using social resources, or just kind of just building, like what I feel like Saturn moving through your 11th house is trying to build a more solid structure for like your communities, for like just people you're working with in general, you know, trying to earn that like more income for with you and your colleagues, like trying to have that huge financial gains when you're working with all these people, trying to just expand like more opportunities, but having like a solid structure when it comes to working with people and stuff like that, like something like that. But yeah, Saturn direct, we're done with that. He is done doing his little test for you, Tauruses. Okay, and then we get to the full moon in your sign, which is in Taurus right here, guys. So it's connected with Uranus, so like this could feel a little chaotic, volatile, just all over the place. You know, maybe emotions will be running a little extra higher at this point. The sun's in your 7th house, the moon and Uranus are in your 1st house, so there's like a push-pull, you know, head-on collisions, maybe oppositions with you and other people. So kind of take it easy if you're dealing with all that. The main focus is trying to balance other people, and you know, trying not to go overboard with your emotional states. So just take it easy. I didn't mention this, but Mars is basically going opposite Pluto kind of in this, you know, point in time. So just take it easy, you know, with your just power struggles in general. Yeah, there might be, you know, some family dynamics or other cultures. Maybe, you know, just take it easy when it comes to like that type of stuff. Let's see. And then Pluto is basically going into Aquarius, so continuing this opposition with Mars and Pluto. So power struggles will increase. Take it easy. It's not going to be. We'll have to just take it easy, guys. So Pluto is done with Capricorn. It's moving into your 10th house. So the main focus for the next 20 years for you, Tauruses, is putting the power on achievements, your career, anything you want to do in your public life and stuff like that. So just your reputation and stuff. So anything to just do with like a better structure is where the power is going for the next 20 years. And then after that, the sun moves into Sagittarius, and that is basically just, you know, putting the focus on deeper connections, this, you know, hidden part of your chart, you know, assets, inheritance, death, rebirth, you know, refinancing, kind of just deepening these connections. Like I said, 7th and 8th house are all about relationships. It's all about one-on-one connections in the 7th house. The 8th house makes it a little deeper. Contracts, all that stuff, maybe inheritance. You're earning more resources or finances. You're working better with other people's, and helping them out. Something like that. And then Mercury goes retrograde. Whoops, one sec. Mercury stations retrograde, and then we get to the new moon in Sag. So that's how the month ends for you. So that's where the reviewing process ends up becoming, and you will end up basically going back over certain things to do with, psychological connections, intimacy, inheritance, paying off debts and stuff like that, being of assets of people. And this new moon is basically is refreshing this type of energy as Mercury is going back over this spot. So that is it for Tauruses. All right, for Geminis, this new moon is happening in your 6th house. So refreshing this energy to do with like your work life, like how you are how do you work, your workspace and all that stuff. Stuff about your physical health. That is starting a new cycle for you. Stuff to do with like, injuries, illnesses, taking care of like certain things like your hygiene, taking care of pets, taking care of any like leases, like signing new leases or whatever, dealing with all that stuff. Maybe something to do with like coworkers, your wellness, anything to do with that, your routines. It's all about like the work that needs to be provided in order for, you to make a living, basically. So that's kind of like the whole theme as the month starts. Then Mercury goes into your 7th house of Sagittarius. So this focus, Mercury will be here for quite some time actually, but the focus starts to focus on other people. You might have some oppositions happening here with you and other people. Mercury's going to be going retrograde at this point in this sign, so you might have to review certain relationships, I would say. Maybe review certain contracts that you are maybe wanting to commit to, but you're not really too sure to commit yet. So kind of that's the whole theme, I would say, for you guys, for Geminis. And then Mars basically is coming up to an opposition with Pluto. So something to do with like, I would say 2nd and 3rd house, because that's kind of where Mars is going to be at. And then with Pluto with 8th and 9th house. So just on top, I know that's another layer that I could probably go on about, but I'm not going to. But Mars opposite Pluto is going to be a little tough. This will continue, like I said, Mars will enter Leo and Pluto will enter Aquarius. So just take it easy when it comes to that stuff, guys. It's not the best transit. Power struggles on top of like everything else, explosions. Just take it easy. Mars going into your 3rd house of Leo. That will feel pretty easier for you, Geminis. It'll be kind of like in a sextile type of vibe for you. You'll have this passion or just this sort of drive, because Mars is slowing down, to do with like information, education, interacting with people, like your commune, writing projects, stuff to do with like siblings or short-term trips or whatever. That's gonna be the whole theme of what you want to go after, but there's a slowdown, so there might be some delays happening in this area for you. Then Mercury will enter shadow. This is the point where Mercury will begin its shadow and stuff like that, its whole retrograde. So this is the point to really start to review and pay attention to. Yes, like I said, this retrograde for you, Geminis, is going to be, reviewing like who's like these relationships, what's good for you, what's not good for you. It's going to be a push-pull, what do people need from you, and how can you provide stuff for other people. Then Venus will go into Capricorn, which is your 8th house. So Venus is shifting its values. It's getting a little bit more intimate in what it wants to do. It wants to have these serious commitments. That's what I would say, especially going into the 8th house. It's like really deep commitments, and valuing that stuff. Like basically, if you're saying you're going to do this, you're gonna do this with a partner. Like you will not change your mind. Like they will maybe. It'll be more beneficial if you are doing stuff with other people, either helping them with any resources, any financial stuff, or just in general like ventures and just kind of just connecting with other people. It will deepen your connection, but in a more serious kind vibe. Then Saturn will station direct in your 10th house. Man, I feel like Geminis have been going through a tough time having Saturn in the 10th house. But here's the silver lining. Here's the light at the end of the tunnel. Here's some good news. He will be leaving for a small minute, a hot minute, next year. But Saturn direct in your 10th house. What responsibilities have you been taking on since February, the beginning of this year? How has that changed your life? How have you matured since then? How have you disciplined yourself when it comes to what you're obligated to do, the role you are playing out in the public, career? What achievements have you achieved? Like you're knowing your limits, and it's like the ladder of climbing up the corporate ladder and stuff like that. You have been climbing up this corporate ladder for maybe quite some time now, and Saturn has been very teaching you like the hard lessons that you need to learn in order to achieve that hierarchy, I guess you could say, or authoritarian role that will benefit your whole life, and it could also benefit your work home life actually. So that's a very interesting transit. And that brings us to the full moon in Taurus, which is happening right here in your 12th house. It's kind of like right at the end of your 12th house here. So yeah, full moon in Taurus with Uranus might feel a little chaotic, a little disruptive in some type of way. This 12th house area for you, it's been a little uneasy, I guess you could say. It's shining a light in the dark place. That's not really, that's a very hidden place. And Uranus is in the mix with this. So there's something to do with like spirituality, addictions, blind spots, like your subconscious, like stuff like that, dreams, addictions, any of that stuff is like kind of being heightened at this time. So maybe it's like, maybe you need to shift your perspective of like your mental health and how to heal this mental health, subconscious side of you. The sun's in the 6th house. So this is all about, the physical side of life and your mental side of life. It's a head-on collision. There's oppositions happening. So, and it's maybe not easy. Emotions will be running high because of Uranus on top of that. So, and then Pluto is leaving your 8th house of Capricorn. So it's done with Capricorn, never coming back, at least in your lifetime. And then it's moving into the 9th house. So the power is shifting from basically, the 8th house of like other people, like deepening psychological connections, to your vision, basically. Like, what is your vision? Well, I guess you could say vision. Vision would also be like an 11th house theme, but like 9th house, like exploring the world. Like, what kind of vision do you want to, learn, or, where's the power going into? If you are basically doing any academics or something like that, maybe this can shift you into a higher degree or something if you are working towards that. But your philosophical, like philosophy, truths, higher education, foreign stuff, religion, all of that stuff, traveling in general, that's going to be where the power is at for you for the next 20 years, I should say. And then the sun enters your 7th house. Sagittarius season is here. The focus is on other people this month for you guys, and as we move into December. So that's kind of how we end the month. Let me just kind of get to the last thing. Mercury's basically stationing retrograde. This is the point where things will start to move backwards. Excuse me. That is where the reviewing process will begin, and then we end up having a new moon in Sagittarius, refreshing on top of this reviewing point of view when it comes to other people, these contracts, commitments, how you are supporting other people. Maybe you're dealing with some type of open enemies in some way, something like that. But that is how we end the month for you, Geminis. Okay. For Cancers. Okay. All right, so for Cancers, the start of the month, we have this new moon happening in your 5th house of Scorpio. So yes, we're in Scorpio season. We have Mercury in Scorpio, the new moon in Scorpio. It's making a trine to your 1st house. It's probably flowing a lot easier for you. This 5th house is all about the fun house. It's a very playful, creative type of house. Has to do with like your inner child. Maybe just children in general, working with it, having fun with them, seeking like hobbies, like, either working on any hobbies or just doing anything that's very fun. It can be a very romantic place, something to do with like dating. Maybe that's kind of heightening up, putting the focus onto your dating life. Maybe it's been increasing, I don't know. But it's a very inspirational time, basically refreshing this vibe, having this new moon happening in your 5th house. So it's kind of just giving you a new cycle to just really feel inspired and, follow your passions or think about bucket list items that you would want to accomplish in life. It's a very fertile time as well, too. So, that's kind of how we begin this month. And we are moving on to Mercury going into your 6th house of Sagittarius. So Mercury going into your 6th house, Mercury is all about the mind, how we process information, stuff like that, how we communicate. It's all about the logical side. But it's in a sign where it's in its detriment. So it's a very, big picture theme, and you're trying to, process all of this big information. It might feel like an information overload at times. Having Mercury in the sign of in your 6th house, I should say, this is going to really just focus on your routines, your work life in general, like what you need to provide, like the work that you need that needs to be done in order for you to make a living, provide a bunch of stuff for you. You need to do these day-to-day routines. You need to focus on your hygiene. You need to focus on getting the more more nutritiousness, nutritions in order for your physical body, because that it's focusing on your physical health. That's the 6th house. And Mercury, the mind, the planet that's trying to understand all this stuff, is really focusing on your health in general. So maybe connecting with coworkers will kind of make it a little easier to, make your work a little bit better. But Mercury is going to be in this point for you for quite some time. It's going to do a whole retrograde thing. So just kind of prepare yourself. There will be a reviewing process very soon as we get to the Mercury retrograde. So it's something to do with your physical health, your work life, your workspace in general, routines, leases, anything to do with signing leases or whatever, your hygiene, just the systems that you work by will go under review. I hope that makes sense. And then Mars is going into Leo. So Mars is leaving your sign. That might feel a little good for maybe a minute until Mars gets back into your sign, but Mars is leaving your sign for a little bit. It's moving into your 2nd house, which is all about, your finances, your personal resources. You might feel like you need to I wouldn't say really protect your security, but this is, you're gonna have a little bit more passions to really go after, to earn more security or earn more possessions, or just, I don't know, you have this desire. But Mars is slowing down, so it might not be all coming at once, but you're really kind of opening a new door to saying, okay, this is what I kind of, want to chase after, but there's things that I have to work for before, there's things I need to do before I can actually go and achieve these things. But this is just, kind of shifting your perspective and what you are doing. Mars in the 2nd house can also represent spending a little bit too much. Mars burns or cuts, through stuff or whatever. And when it's in the 2nd house, it could be, cutting through, your finances or just any resources that you really want to have. So look out for that if you are overspending on certain things. Next thing is Mercury's basically going into shadow, which I'm probably just going to be repeating myself when it comes to like the reviewing process. This is where things start to slow down. Delays are going to increase. So things to do with like I said, your health and stuff like that, your work life and stuff like that. Yeah, it's going under review right now. So just take it easy, you know, do what you can. I wouldn't say don't overwhelm yourself if you are have like a huge workload or whatever, or something to do with like health issues. Even if you're taking care of a pet or anything, like maybe there's something going on with your pet and you're like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed about this. Like, just take it easy, do what is necessary. Okay, and then Venus goes into Capricorn. So Venus is moving into your 7th house of Capricorn. This is going to bring a more serious vibe to your relationships, how you are connecting, how you are attracting any, you know, connections, any contracts and stuff like that. You might have a little bit of fun, maybe with other people, even if it's romantic relationships or just, you know, any one-on-one relationships. There might bring a little bit of beneficialness to that, I guess I could say. But yeah, I mean, Venus in Capricorn is basically valuing that more responsible type of, like, I guess, and in this case, this is in your 7th house, so maybe you are trying to attract somebody who is well built, I guess you could say. A more like just structured type of vibe, or a person or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of the vibe for Venus in Cap. So, and then Saturn will station direct. That's the next thing. Saturn is stationing direct in your 9th house. So any responsibilities that you have been dealing with since like the beginning of this year, when it comes to like, I don't know, if it's something to do with like traveling, higher education, like if you're like a teacher or something, or you're teaching something, publishing anything, anything to do with like foreign cultures, foreign languages, any legal matters that you've maybe been dealing with. Maybe this is the time that things finally settle and you can finally kind of move on from all this stuff. Anything like that, you know, anything to do with like philosophies and truths and principles, like, so any of that stuff. Okay, and then we get to the full moon in Taurus, which is right here on the 15th, same day Saturn stationing direct. So the full moon is happening in your 11th house. It's on top of Uranus, so this is going to bring, you know, heightened emotions on top of, like, you know, a regular full moon and stuff like that. It might feel a little, you know, volatile, very chaotic a little bit, or just, you know, your emotions will be running high. Maybe not for you, but just maybe the vibe in general will be a little heightened than usual. 11th house, this is about friendships, colleagues, you know, and your visions in life, dreams, aspirations, opportunities. So, you know, there's a push-pull in this 11th house and your 5th house. So, you know, the sun's still in Scorpio. It's focusing on like fun things and like just trying to have a little bit of a, just, I don't know, I guess fun or whatever. But and these can also represent money houses too. So, you know, maybe like 5th house is entrepreneurship, money, and 11th house is kind of like the money you earn from your working in your community, working in your career life in general. But there's something here that's really kind of shaking things up a little bit when it comes to maybe friends, or just your work life in general, maybe, or I don't know, something like that. Something very creative. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of like the vibe. So it's all good. I mean, next thing happening is Pluto's going into Aquarius. All right, so Pluto, one good thing about you Cancers, I would say, is Pluto traveling through your 7th house of Capricorn over the past 16 years has probably felt very, very like hard and just tough in general. I mean, even for people that are Cap risings or have any Cap placements, Pluto traveling through the sign of Capricorn, it has been tough. It's been uncovering all this, like, all of this unseen, you know, things to do with like Capricorn things, which is like, you know, structures, responsibilities, you know, governments, corporations, and stuff like that. But for you Cancers, this is your 7th house. So maybe you've been uncovering a lot of stuff to do with relationships, contracts, or just like, Maybe you've had a lot of open enemies that have been like opposing you, and Pluto's been kind of like digging up all these things and just bringing up more power struggles for you. So it's probably been tough, but you're finally done with that. Now Pluto's going into a much deeper, I would say, sign, an area of life for you when it comes to like these relationships. But this is an interesting transit, because I would say Pluto and the 8th house have similar vibes to it, because they're both about, transformation, death, rebirth, very psychological type of vibe. So I don't know, maybe you'll be uncovering a lot more psychological information, or just maybe new things when it comes to relationships and all that stuff. But yeah, inheritance, transformation, shared resources, joint ventures, money in general, paying off debt. That's where the power is going towards you for the next 20 years. Where are we at? Okay, and then Sun enters Sag. So this 6th house theme gets a little bit more of a focus. Work life, health, physical stuff, injuries, if you're dealing with any injuries, routines, coworkers, wellness, supplements, all this stuff. So this is kind of how we just end the month, and then Mercury will station retrograde in your 6th house, and then we get a new moon happening in your 6th house as well. So there's like a couple reviewing, refreshing this type of energy, going back over certain things and just trying to make things, adjusting to new routines and stuff like that. That's what I would say. All right, Leos. For you Leos, okay, here we go. Wait, where are we at? Okay, so for you Leos, you're having a new moon in your 4th house of Scorpio as the month begins. So refreshing energies to do with like your home life, your internal instincts, just your property in general, just trying to, just make things, comfortable. And, it's really focusing on your roots at this point. Maybe there's some family drama because it's squaring your 1st house. So that is also possible. But yeah, but that's just kind of refreshing the energies to do with like, Scorpio vibes, or your 4th house themes to do with like family and stuff like that. Mercury, followed by the moon, will enter your 5th house, bringing this fire energy back, which is very beneficial for you Leos. And then when Mars gets here, it's going to bring even more fire energy to you. So Mercury will be in this point for a very, quite some time, couple months now. It's, Mercury's all about the mind, how we process information, stuff like that. And it's really focusing on your creative side, pleasures, hobbies, entrepreneurship, romance, dating, inspirations, bucket list, passions. It's a very fertile house. That's going to be the whole theme. If you're maybe thinking about children, this might be a good time to really start thinking about it and really reviewing all of the steps that require having children or something like that. So that's kind of maybe what I would say about this whole Mercury retrograde thing. So let's see. The next thing happening is Mars is going into Leo, and it's going opposite Uranus. Not opposite Uranus, it's going opposite Pluto, I should say. Jeez. So that's already going to be a whole thing for the whole month. Going to bring power struggles in general. So yeah. But yeah, Mars going into your 1st house will give you a little bit more energy than you probably have for a little bit, quite some time actually. But Mars is going to be slowing down, stationing retrograde eventually, but having Mars in your 1st house is really empowering more energy, really shining, giving you a little bit of more fiery energy back to what you are probably been needing for quite some time now. Leaving this 12th house area for you, but it's going back there eventually. But it'll probably feel good for a hot minute. So we'll talk more about that as it goes on. And then Mercury basically goes into shadow, starting this whole reviewing process, Mercury retrograde thing. You'll get it. You'll get it as we go through it. And then Venus goes into your 6th house of Capricorn. So Venus going into this Capricorn is bringing a more serious vibe to it, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. You're valuing a little bit more respect, or having a little bit more fun. This is in your workspace, so like maybe having a little bit of fun with your coworkers, playing by the rules, just kind of having fun with the rules that you are basically needing to do in order to provide the work that is needed. Maybe if you're dealing with any like injuries or illnesses, this is just providing a little bit more ease when it comes to this kind of type of stuff. So you could be, having a little bit of fun, making it'll be interesting though, but it has a more serious vibe to it because it's Venus in Cap. And then Saturn stationing direct. So that's basically, giving you the green light of what you've been dealing with since the beginning of this year. What responsibilities have you been dealing with since Saturn's been in this area of life for you? 8th house is about, shared resources, paying like debts in general, loans. It's a death rebirth type of energy, psychological interest, intimacy, all this type of stuff, joint ventures. Like, you'll understand what you need to basically do, this point forward, and you are basically understanding these responsibilities and how you have disciplined yourself when it comes to maybe deepening these connections a little bit and knowing your limitations when it comes to that stuff. Okay, and then this ends up being the full moon in Taurus happening in your 10th house. The sun's in your 4th, the moon and Uranus is mixed up with this full moon, is in your 10th house. So yes, this might feel a little, chaotic, volatile in your public life, work life, home, like that work life balance might feel a little uneasy or unbalanced in some type of way. Emotions will be running a little high at this point because Uranus is in the mix with it, shaking things up. So just try to take it easy when it comes to like anything in your career or like home-based matters and stuff like that. Yeah. And then Pluto enters your 7th house. So for you Leos, you're done with the whole Pluto and Capricorn, Pluto in your 6th house. This is done. It's shifting, it's moving. You are entering a new state of mind. The power is going towards, relationships, contracts, commitments, support, all of that fun stuff. Yes, it's in your opposite sign, so it's gonna feel maybe like a struggle at times, or for the next 20 years, I should say. Not to give you like a little heads up or anything, but so yeah, Pluto moving into your 7th house is really just, on the one hand, it's going to uncover deep, dark things that to do with like relationships and contracts, or it could help you feel empowered by, working with other people. It could bring a lot more open enemies, which is probably kind of tough. But I think if you work with this energy and don't be so like fearmonger, it could really help and give more support to other people if you are trying to maybe, boost up their ego or something like that. And then the sun will enter Sag, which is really bringing up this fiery energy for you guys. And that is just you're gonna love it. All of this like 5th house themes become more, prominent. Creativity, children, pleasures, affection, dating, romance, inspirations, bucket lists, all of this stuff gets heightened up for this point. Mercury will start to do its retrograde during this point as the sun enters Sagittarius. So that is the reviewing process when it comes to 5th house themes, and you also have a new moon there as well, refreshing the energies of all this 5th house themes. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so Virgos. This new moon in Scorpio is happening in your 3rd house. So 3rd house is all about your immediate environment, siblings, short-term traveling. You're just small town, small area kind of focus. It's all about your neighborhoods and just where you were normally at most of the time, where you do your commune, take care of errands and stuff like that, maybe connect on, like social medias and stuff like that, communication in general, education, just refreshing all of this stuff. It's already making a good aspect to your 1st house, which is, very helpful as well. But yeah, that's just kind of how we start the month for you. And then Mercury enters your 4th house of Sagittarius. Mercury's going to be here for quite some time, Virgos, so just kind of get used to this, get comfortable. Yes, Sagittarius squares your 1st house of Virgo, so this might not feel like very easy because you are ruled by Mercury, actually, I should say. And it's moving into a place where it's in its detriment. So maybe you're not going to be operating the best over this time period because your ruler is in a sign that's not really comfortable in. But moving into your 4th house, this is really focusing on your home life, your property, family in general, your maternal instincts, your roots, all of that stuff. So there's gonna be like a reviewing process of of this Sagittarius or 4th house theme, I should say, for you Virgos. So yeah, this can bring up drama, it's gonna happen, I feel like even having a Mercury retrograde in the 4th house is like shaking up communications with family members or just home life in general. So just kind of take it easy as much as possible. It's not gonna feel the best, but we'll get past it, and that's the bright side of it. Okay, and then let's see, Mars is going into, where's Mars at? Into your 12th house. So Mars going into your 12th might kind of, I would kind of say decrease your energy in a way. But I mean, Mars is already kind of decreasing its energy as it is, moving into Leo. It's slowing down. It's going to start its retrograde at this point, basically. But Mars shifting into your 12th house will kind of maybe give you a little bit of energy to, focus on like spirituality and stuff like that, or just maybe spiritual things in general, like spirit guides or anything that really kind of helps your mental health in a way. Maybe cutting out certain things that help your mental health side or whatever. Maybe doing a little bit of kinky stuff in the backdrop. That's possible. I'm just kidding. But, I mean, it's a possibility. Mars in the 12th, it's a very hidden spot. And Mars is yeah, we get it. Okay, so, but Mars will be here for just a little bit. And then it'll end up going back in your 11th. So, let's see. And then Mercury enters its shadow. Basically, the whole Mercury retrograde thing is starting to review at this point. I'm repeating myself. So, let's see. Let's move on to, I think it's Venus going into Cap. Okay, Venus is going into Cap. That's going to be easier for you. It's moving into another Earth sign. And Venus is actually going into a house placement where she actually loves to be. She finds her joy in the 5th house. This is going to bring a more seriousness, but a little bit of fun mixed with it when it comes to romantic, you're just being romantic in general, dating in general, maybe meeting somebody and, having a little bit of fun with it, playfulness, children, your inner child, creativity, it'll probably feel very, very nice having Venus here, it's making a trine to your 1st house of Virgo too, so it's a very interesting, transit for you. Have a little fun. Yeah, go out, go meet people and stuff like that. Date, I'm sure you'll be attracting maybe more serious people or just, serious, just having fun. I think it'll be a very fun time, guys. Saturn is moving direct in your 7th house. Man, I feel like Virgos have been going through it. I've mentioned this, I think, many times about the Virgo risings having Saturn in their 7th house of who's good for you and who's not good for you. Saturn is all about, responsibilities, being serious, long-term goals and stuff like that, and just showing you restrictions and stuff. So having Saturn in the 7th house has really probably been tough to handle other people, just relationships in general, contracts, it's just been hard. I'm for the mutable signs, it's just been tough, but I feel like for Virgos, you've been going through it. So, but one thing in general is, there's probably been some balance, or understanding of how far you can go with these relationships, or just your restrictions and limitations when it comes to other people in general, or support and commitment. But Saturn's moving away. Saturn's done. He's gonna start to leave this area of life for you for a little bit. It'll eventually coming back by the end of next year. But you have that little silver lining as this point continues, and I think it'll be a little better for you Virgos. So just kind of, take it easy when it comes to like relationships in general, and what you've been dealing with. I mean, a lot of Virgos have probably been going through it, so it's been a tough time for them. But it's good. We hit this, green light, and things will start to ease up a little bit for you. And then we have this full moon happening in Taurus in your 9th house. This is going to be nice, sort of. I mean, Uranus is going to be in the mix with it, so it might be a little chaotic, might be a little volatile, just kind of unexpected. Emotions will be running high at this point. But yeah, 9th house, it's all about like higher education, philosophies, truths, traveling in general. So I mean, yeah, it's forming a trine to your first house of Virgo. So Earth placements. It's not as bad, I guess, but having Uranus here in the mix will really shake things up, though. So that's kind of the whole like a wrench being thrown in your plans or whatever. But it'll be all right, though. All right. So what's the next thing? Pluto's moving into Aquarius. So where's Pluto at right now? Right there. Okay. So Pluto's moving into your 6th house of Aquarius for you Virgos. It's done with Capricorn. So, I mean, maybe it's been a very good placement having Pluto trining your Virgo placements. Being in the 5th house. Maybe your 5th house, like, has been shifted in a huge way when it comes to, like a very fertile house. It's probably been, showing you the darker sides of, dating and relationships and creativity and stuff like that. So maybe it's transformed your dating life in a very huge way, but now it's time to transform your work life for the next 20 years. Your physical health, your routines, your work life in general, what you need to do in order to provide certain things. But just, coworkers, wellness, taking care of pets. This is going to be the transformational, new chapter that you will be experiencing. And that's where the power is going to be at. And you will be uncovering a lot of stuff, too, over the next 20 years when it comes to, like, 6th house themes of, like, work and health in general. So just get ready. And then the sun enters your 4th house of Sag and will be here for quite some time for the next month. And this is where the Mercury retrograde begins, and we have a new moon in Sagittarius as well as we end this month. I don't know why I just did that, but that was weird. So Mercury, well, let me just start with saying, the sun in Sagittarius in your 4th house. It's just, continuing this trend of like your home life, something to do with like your roots, your property, just kind of maybe spending time at home or doing things around the house or your property or whatever. But having Mercury going retrograde at this point is basically giving you that reviewment. Reviewment, is that the right word? Going under review when it comes to like your intuition, your intuitive instincts, like dealing with family in general, mother figures, father figures, anything, maybe people in your house as well, maybe shaking things up, maybe not getting the right plans right away because there will be delays and stuff like that, but it's under review. And then the moon is, coming into Sag, new moon in Sag, refreshing these energies in general for you. And that is how the month ends for y'all. All right, Libras, it's on to you now. Okay, so all of this stuff, I wouldn't say all of this stuff. We start the month having this new moon in Sagittarius, not Sagittarius, that's at the end of the month. God, I am all over the place. It's been a long day, long video, I should say. We start the month with a new moon in Scorpio in your 2nd house. So, refreshing the energies to do with like your own resources, finances, security, possessions, priorities, all that stuff is just being refreshed. So that's kind of just how the month begins. And then Mercury will enter your 3rd house of Sagittarius, which will feel a little, easy. It's, it's forming a sextile to your 1st house. So, that's going to like boost up your confidence a little bit, boost up who you are. Mercury's going to be here for quite some time though. So, kind of just get used to this. Mercury is in detriment in the sign of Sagittarius, so it might not feel the best of like processing information, just going, understanding all of this big picture themes. It's kind of weird having Sagittarius in your third house, because the third house is kind of like all about like the small things, the little details, but it's kind of like shifted. It's like opposite. So it's a weird placement, but I mean, this is all just about, siblings, short-term travels, your immediate environment, education, interacting, doing your errands, commune, all that stuff, writing projects, anything like that. And Mercury will eventually go retrograde, and this part of the chart for you is just going under review of maybe adjusting to like a new communication way, or communicating in a different way, or just maybe dealing with any writing or like writing projects, or dealing with any relatives, or just interacting in general. And then Mars is entering your 11th house. He's already here. So Mars enters your 11th house. It leaves Cancer for a little bit, so that'll feel nice. Mars moving into a fire sign probably will feel a little extra boosting of your of who you are, lighting you up a bit. So Mars entering the 11th house, though, is really giving a little bit of a more passionate, kind of vibe of, what you want to chase, or what you like, any goals that you want to achieve and stuff like that. And Mars moving into the 11th is really just going to give you more passionate ways of like wanting to work with other people, kind of just, working for the your communities, doing community service in any way, just trying to, chase after any opportunities that is basically coming available to you. Let's see what else. Yeah, I mean, you're like these visions, these dreams, these aspirations that you are really like wanting to attract or wanting to go after. This is like going to be the whole theme, but Mars is going to station retrograde and then leave this point chart for you. So it's opening a door to new opportunities, and all these things that feel so like exciting, but it's like, this isn't the right time yet. You will get there though, but this is just opening a door and saying, hey, this is what we're moving into very, very soon, coming near you, like coming soon. So just kind of hang up in there. And then the next thing is Mercury is basically going into shadow, which continues this trend of like what's being under reviewed, the delays happening, blah, 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 all that stuff. So next thing is Venus is going into Cap, moving into your 4th house. So yes, Venus is shifting its vibe of what it values. It's bringing a more seriousness to it. There might be, no. I wouldn't say there wouldn't be any drama. There might be a little drama, but it's Venus. Venus in the 4th house is all about, redecorating your house and just beautifying your living situation. So that's the best part of Venus going through your 4th house. It's just like renovating your house, or renovating your property, or just renovating stuff to do with like just your home life. Like I think anybody would agree with me when they say that, it's a very easier time when Venus, easier and enjoyable time, I should say. Can't get these words to spit out, so sometimes. But yeah, Venus in your 4th house will be kind of cool. Having it in Capricorn, it might be a little bit of like a darker type of beauty in a way, I would say. So that should be interesting as well. So that should be fun. So go at it, renovate your house, make it look cool. Bring the Venusian side to your home, your living situation. And then Saturn is stationing direct in your 6th house. So, okay, all these responsibilities that you've been dealing with since the beginning of this year, when it comes to your work life, what work is needed to, so you can provide a good, healthy, I guess, life, or just work life in general, like just anything that you've been maybe, brought up to, like when it comes to responsibilities in the 6th house, taking care of any, anything, like any pets, or just working in general, like just structuring your life in a more better way. That way it's like you're structuring your work life and structuring your health in general. These 2 main themes, I would say, has been the whole key, transit of Saturn moving through your 6th house of Pisces. So how have you matured? How, your limits when it comes to, how much you can do, how much you can't do, what your body needs, getting the right nutrition and stuff like that, I would say has been the test for you. So, but we are moving on from that. You have finally passed this test. Now it's, one last time, one last push to understand and get things in order. And then we basically have the full moon in Taurus happening in your 8th house. So 2nd and 8th house, this is just, these are money houses. 2nd house is your money. 8th house is other people's money. So trying to bring some balance between that. Uranus is in the mix with this. So there's a little bit of a shakeup and, disruption when it comes to this stuff. So try to take it easy. Maybe there's good disruptions, or maybe there's disruptions that can help you feel liberated in some type of way, or maybe it's just very chaotic in general and it's just kind of hard to handle. But hopefully it's not. Yeah, that's all I can say. Let's see. And then Pluto moves out of Capricorn and moves into your 5th house of Aquarius. So the Pluto and Capricorn era is finally complete. You are done with that. Maybe all of this, uprooting, digging under the surfaces when it comes to your 4th house themes, family, roots, your living situation. Maybe that's, there's been a huge transformation happening in that point. But now this shifts into your 5th house. That's where the power is going. 5th house is, your creative side. Children in general. Maybe if you're thinking about having children, this will really change your life over the next 20 years. It will really dig things up, when it comes to that type of stuff. Hobbies, entrepreneurship, inspirations, desires, romance, dating. It's a very fertile house, like I said. Either if it's to do with children or your creative hobbies or whatever. So yeah, bucket list items, all of that stuff. Going to be a huge time for you Libras. That's what I'm saying. And then the sun enters Sagittarius in your 3rd house for the next month. And then this is just, continuing this, trend of 3rd house themes, kind of exploring your immediate environment, basically. That's kind of a weird way of saying it, but that's how I would say that. So, and then Mercury's stationing retrograde, doing a whole review and stuff like that. So that's just the whole vibe of how we end the month. Okay, now we are going to Scorpios. Okay, I guess we can just start there. Okay, so, well, hold on, let me see. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. All right, so for Scorpios. Okay, so Scorpios. Scorpio risings. Okay, so new moon is happening in your 1st house. This is kind of refreshing how you present yourself. This is refreshing who you are, your personality, and how your approach to life, your approach to your outlook on life. Excuse me, your outlook on life and all that stuff. It's you're shifting your attitude. It's your season, so happy birthday if you're celebrating a birthday this month. You will gain the blessings that you have wished for, if you basically, do the right manifestations, as they say. I know manifestations is kind of like a polarizing type of word. I don't know. We don't need to get into that. But yeah, so new moon in your 1st house, shifting your, just who you are and starting a new cycle. When it comes to just who you are and presenting yourself, interactions and stuff, identity, you're who you are. Okay, and then Mercury moves into moves into your 2nd house of Sagittarius. So Mercury, the planet of the mind, communication, processing information, is moving into the sign of its detriment, but it's in your 2nd house. So you're focusing on money, you're focusing on security. What can I do? What information will help me, provide a more secure, lifestyle, or just, what is needed for me to feel, secure. That can be, earning more money. That can mean, earning resources that really help you feel that makes you feel complete. 2nd house is about, what you need in order to, provide a good lifestyle. You need a place to live. You need, food and water. You need clothes or whatever. You need resources in order for you to feel secure. That's second house. And Mercury's going to be here for quite some time, so there's going to go a review, reviewment, whatever it is. It's going to be going under review of how you can improve or adjust to the second house. So they might feel a little information overload because Mercury's in a Sagittarius and it's in a sign of its detriment. It's in a big pictures type of sign, but I feel like it'll eventually help you understand what you need. Basically, that's the key thing. All right, and then Mars will enter Leo in your 10th house. So it gets out of Cancer for a little bit. It's moving into your 10th house, your most public area of life for you. So that's a little interesting. You are being opened to a new door when it comes to achievements or something to do with your career life, your work home life, something to do with that will kind of increase that point of I don't know. You're being open to maybe a new profession, a new way of being responsible, new structures, a new role that you are being presented to or opening up or seeing a little bit of preview of the future of when it comes to your public life or what you are doing in your career. So just be on the lookout for that. Mars is going opposite Pluto. So, in technical, modern and traditional rulership, these two are the ruler of Scorpio. So Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio. Pluto is the modern day ruler of Scorpio. And it's in this opposition. So your ruler, how you are being operated is in a tense aspect with both rulers. So you might feel it a little bit more than the other signs, I would say, but try to take it easy because it's not going to feel easy. It's in the backdrop, but just kind of know that that's around. Mercury then enters its shadow. It starts the whole retrograde thing. So just kind of that something's changing in your finances and resources. And then Venus goes into Cap. That shifts the whole vibe of how you are relating, what you are attracting. It brings a more seriousness to it. It's forming a sextile to your first house, so that might feel a little easy to you. But yeah, Venus in the third, siblings, short-term travel, education, interacting, communicating in general. That's going to be, what you want, what you desire, what you want to attract from other people. And, maybe you're meeting somebody in your immediate environment and they end up being, very beneficial to maybe a new friend or whatever, close, lover, whatever it is, or just expressing love to people in your immediate environment, like close friendships or whatever. So then Saturn stations direct in your 5th house, and then the moon will go full. We'll talk about that. Okay, so Saturn is stationing direct in your 5th house. So whatever responsibilities you've been dealing with since the beginning of this year, you are finally understanding what you had to do in order to, make your life basically make yourself more responsible, make you more mature, and just discipline. And, in this 5th house, lisping, in this 5th house of Pisces, maybe it's been a little easier for you guys. I know Saturn's kind of a tough transit, but it's in it's in a sign, it's in another water sign, I should say. And it's forming a trine to your first house of Scorpio, which is probably helping a little bit than if it was in a more challenging aspect to you. But 5th house, creativity, hobbies, children, either your children or your inner child, or just creative hobbies that feel like a children. Dating, inspirations, romance, it's a very fertile house. So maybe if you have children, you've been have this responsibility of taking care of children in general. But this is kind of okay, we've passed the test, you know what's up, we can move forward from this. And then the full moon happens in your 7th house of Taurus. But Uranus is here with it. So this new moon might feel a little chaotic. Might be a little unexpected, dealing with maybe other people. Emotions will be running high at this point. The sun's in your first house, the moon and Uranus are in your seventh house. So maybe something to do with like relationships shakes up the way you feel, or you do something that shakes somebody else up. Like you do something and then it shakes up their emotional state of mind, and it just kind of creates a little chaoticness and stuff like that. So try to take it easy, try to find some balance, even if things do not feel easy. You'll understand it. It'll be all right though. Peak month, guys. Peak of the month. So, okay. Pluto is going into Aquarius. So Pluto is moving into your fourth house. So this is where the power is shifting. It's going into your fourth house. It's leaving Capricorn for good. You are starting a whole new 20-year cycle, and Pluto is going to be in your fourth house. So your home life, or your foundation, your roots, family, your living situation is going under review. Not really under review, but just it's going in a very transformative time. And over the next 20 years, you're going to see your living situation or your roots or the way you want to live be transformed in a very, very huge, monumental way. So I can't explain that anymore. I'm like doing the whole Trump thing. That's why I'm not getting political on that, but I'm just kidding. Okay. But yeah, your home life's going to be transformed. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting for you. But yeah, you're going to be uprooting maybe certain things to do with like roots and stuff. So a lot of uncovering, deep dark intuition or intuitive instincts you will end up, discovering at this point. So it'll be interesting. And then the sun enters your second house, just basically forming more of like this Sagittarius theme to you. Second house theme is gonna just be very prominent at this point. Second house, like your second house is getting under review. There's a lot of like changing up the way you support yourself and like your money and situation, the resources and stuff like that. You're also having a new moon as we end the month, so it's really like shifting your security and what you possess in general. All right. What am I doing? Hold on. All right. Here we go. Okay, so for Sagittarius, here we are. So this new moon happens at the beginning of the month in your 12th house of Scorpio. This is just, kind of refreshing the energies to do with like 12th house themes. Yes, this period has probably felt kind of heavy because this is the sign right before your sign. So once everything starts moving into Sag, you'll start to feel light. You'll start to feel just like yourself again. I can't wait for Sagittarius season in a way, because I know Scorpio season is always a tough point of the year for me, because it's a very 12th house era for, area at that time for at least my personal life. So it can be tough, it's a very subconscious mental health, like behind the scenes. It's a water house too, and it's very deep, dark, very hidden house and stuff like that. So it could be interesting, but it could really just, it's watering down your fire nature, but it's just really focusing on ending cycles. It's a very transformational time usually. So even if things kind of feel a little draining or just very emotional and not really just what you want, it's just the 12th house. It's Scorpio season. It's that month before your sign. So this is just what happens. But cycles are ending. This is a new cycle basically starting up. So, but once Mercury gets into Sagittarius, this will lighten you up a bit. And then when the sun gets there, it'll be a whole new thing too. So Mercury entering your first house. So, Mercury's the planet of the mind, communication, how we process information. It's entering your sign, your first house. Mercury finds itself in its detriment in the sign of Sagittarius, but I think it'll be okay. I think it'll, lighten you up a little bit. It's really gonna bring a more, big picture type of impression, I guess. You're gonna be maybe, impressing others through your philosophical mindset, anything to do with like, religion, or just just expanding your mind or inspiring others, a very spiritual, idealistic type of vibe to it. And I think that'll be very, very easy and feel good too, because and then Mars will enter another fire sign, which will feel even more, and it's in the 9th house too, so it's like, yes, that's like a Sagittarius ruled house too, so it's like you're getting all of this Sag energy basically as we go through this month, and that's good. We like that. We want that, we want to feel that Sag energy happening. Mars entering your 9th house is opening a door to really expand your horizons. Go out there and just have fun with, like you're passionate about teaching, publishing, traveling in general, foreign themes, foreign cultures, languages, everything to do with like Sag. It's just, there's so much Sag energy, let alone the houses and like these planets moving through your sign. It's gonna make you feel so good. I am excited about this. I know Mercury's gonna go retrograde in this sign, in our sign, I should say. If you are also a Sag, but that's okay. I think it'll be all right. I think it'll be. I mean, we've had Mercury kind of retrograde in this point, I think last year, so we kind of understand it. But I think we'll be all right. And then let's see. Yeah, Mercury basically enters shadow by what is it, like the 7th or whatever, so that's when the whole retrograde reviewing process will begin. And then Venus will enter your 2nd house, which is cool. I mean, Venus in the 2nd house is, I feel like, more about like attracting more finances, attracting more resources. I would say maybe increasing your finances in general will be a very beneficial thing to deal with, and that's exciting. That's cool. Receiving more of that, receiving more security, receiving more possessions, priorities. It's gonna bring your money house to like an ease. It's gonna feel good. And then we have the Mars opposite Pluto still is happening. So I mean, I've talked about that enough. I think we all know this is happening throughout the month. And then Saturn will station direct, which is cool. I mean, whatever responsibilities you've been dealing with when it comes to like 4th house themes, like your living situation, maybe working from home, or just knowing your limitations and, trying to build a solid foundation. That's what I've been saying about Sagittarius. Having Saturn in your 4th whole sign house of Pisces is trying to just build a solid foundation for you to live, just for you to just have that, that deep rooted, subterranean, area that you can actually, find, I guess, solitude in. But yeah, this has been the whole test for us. But Saturn's moving out. It's going towards Aries, which I'm kind of excited for. But yeah, that's the whole test. We're kind of done with that. And then we end up having this full moon in Taurus in your 6th house. And then, sorry, my hand just like locked up right there. Okay, so this full moon happening in your 6th house is really just bringing, putting the spotlight on your work life, any physical illnesses, your physical health, your workspace in general. The sun's in your 12th house. It's all about the hidden parts of life. Going opposite the moon in your 6th, which is, it's like a mental, physical tension. Mental health, physical health, and it's kind of like going opposite each other. And Uranus is connecting with the moon, so this is kind of bringing a little bit of more chaoticness to us. Maybe volatile. It could be a little chaotic, but I mean, yeah, emotions will be running high, so whatever happens might not feel easy. So I think it'll be all right though. After that, let's see, what is it? Okay, Pluto is leaving your 2nd house and entering your 3rd house. So Pluto in Capricorn is done. Whatever, your resources, your finances, anything that you possess, your security, invested in, all of that stuff is done. You have been transformed in a huge way, and I am pretty sure most of us Sag risings like understand like and are can really feel that reward of what Pluto's been doing since it's been traveling through the second house. But here it is. It's going to be here in this entering your third house. And it's going to be transforming your third house over the next 20 years, which is communication. That is the big thing. The power is going towards your communication, what you are speaking, how you interact with people, siblings, short-term travels, media environment stuff, relatives, writing projects, your social life, I guess your inner social life or whatever. That's where the power is going towards over the next 20 years, and that's going to be very exciting. And then the sun gets into our sign. So happy birthday to us if we are Sag risings or just Sag sun in general or whatever. Very interesting point of time. So yeah, and then Mercury goes retrograde, stations retrograde on my birthday this year, so November 25th, so happy birthday to me. But yeah, so Mercury goes retrograde in our sign, so this is where the reviewing process begins, and we are going to go through this, and it's going to shift a little bit of like how we impress others. I feel like it's going to shift our personality in a way we can, shift our perspective or approach to life in general. And we also have a new moon here just to refresh it all. So Cap risings, here we go. Are you ready? Okay, so Cap risings, we start the month with a new moon in your 11th house in Scorpio. So new moons, resetting intentions, new cycles are beginning. This is refreshing your area of the 11th house, and this is all about friendships, communities, group activities, opportunities, your aspirations, all of this stuff, just refreshing it. It might feel pretty good. It's sextiling your first house. I think it'll really shift your financial career life, I guess, in general, maybe bring you new opportunities over time. And then Mercury goes into Sag, your 12th house, so that's shifting the whole vibe. It's going to be here for quite some time, so having Mercury in your 12th house might feel a little weird because it's going retrograde in your most hidden part of life, area of life for you. So it's going to be a little interesting, but we'll get past it. It's just going to be reviewing all of this, unseen, spiritual, subconscious, mental health stuff for you, Caps. So I think you'll start to understand what is happening. And then Mars goes into your 8th house, opening a new door to, when it comes to 8th house themes, deepening these relationship connections, maybe inheritance, inheriting more money, inheriting more resources, inheriting more assets that kind of help you or you're a good asset to help, cut out certain things that really help the energy, go towards where you want to go. Mars in the 8th house, it's going to be kind of maybe a freaky type of house. Mars is kind of, ruling about sex. 8th house is, pretty freaky about that stuff, so have fun with that. Take that as you please. But yeah, cutting out debts, maybe loans or whatever, or maybe if you're dealing with any financial stuff or resources, might be a good time to really, cut that stuff off, be done with it. But this is giving you a little preview of what you will be expecting very soon. Then Venus goes into your first house to beautify your personality, but give you a little bit of a more serious vibe to it. So of how you are impressing. Venus in the first house is really just, it's you're impressing. It's just you're beautifying yourself. Maybe certain clothes that you're wearing makes you very attractive. Maybe you got that Capricorn seriousness, that darker theme to you, but having Venus, maybe wearing more darker clothes or something to do with like that will really make you stand out, or have you attract, or have people attract, towards you or whatever, because of how you are maybe looking or whatever. That could be fun. And then your ruler stations direct Is that right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Your ruler station is direct in your third house. Saturn, which is your ruler, it's stationing direct in your third house. So whatever responsibilities you've been dealing with since the beginning of this year is coming to a close. Third house, communications, short-term travels, dealing with siblings, relatives, any writing projects, your social life, any networks that you kind of like, social media networks that you maybe work on or whatever, something like that. If you do any work online, that's coming to a close. Maybe you have been disciplined in a new way of how you are expressing, your communication and stuff like that. Okay, and then let's see. Then we're moving to the full moon in Taurus, which involves Uranus connecting with the moon. So this might feel a little chaotic, emotions will be heightened at this time, it might be a little unexpected. But I think it'll be okay for the most part. It is in your fifth house, so that's, romance, creative side, your hobbies, pleasures, and stuff like that. These planets are, forming good aspects to your first house, so maybe look at it as a little easier. But yeah, it's going to be a little chaotic, though, because of the whole Uranus thing, though. So it'll be all right. And then Pluto moves out of your sign for good. Capricorns are probably going to be, having a huge sigh of relief once Pluto leaves their sign. Pluto has transformed you in the most powerful, major way, probably than any other sign, but now it's going into Aquarius, so that's bringing the whole theme to that sign. But it's going into your second house, Capricorn, so, this is all about, your finances, how you secure your life, what you need to secure your life by, having certain things. You need a place to live, you need, food and water, you need clothes, you need, a secure place, possessions. You might be investing more into that stuff, and that's going to be where the power is leading you towards over the next 20 years. So your second house is about to just transform in the way you deal with money, just how you are spending money, or just anything to do with possessions or priorities in general. And then the sun moves into Sag, and everything is just going finishing up into Sagittarius. Hold on. So the vibe shifts in there, new moon in Sagittarius, just refreshing the energies once again. And this is in your 12th house, spirituality, mental health and stuff like that, addictions, just quietness and stuff like that. Mercury is stationing retrograde, doing its whole thing in there. So that is really shifting your vibe in general. So yeah. Okay. We are almost done. Okay, so Aquarius everything starts off in your 10th house. New moon in Scorpio in your 10th, refreshing the energies to do with career, achievements, your role, your obligations and stuff like that. That's just kind of just setting a new, reset button, maybe squaring your, bringing a little bit of tension because it's squaring your first house. That's just another thing to look at. But something is being refreshed in your public life. And then Mercury enters Sagittarius, moving into your 11th house. It's going to be here for quite some time, okay, Aquariuses? So the mind, how you're processing information is going into a sign that's very beyond, the vision. This is a very visionary area of life. Opportunities, groups of people, spending time with friends or whatever it is. This is going to be shifted. Maybe these friendships are not what you need, or these people that you're working with. Maybe you need to change your perspective on certain things like that. Then Mars enters, Mars going opposite Pluto first. That's a whole thing. But Mars is entering your 7th house of Leo for a little bit, guys. So Mars entering Leo is just, it's out of Cancer. That's going to feel good for you. But it's going into your 7th house, guys. So there could be some complications or maybe confrontations with other people because it's Mars, it's in the 7th house. You might be dealing with that stuff. that's just one thing to deal with. I mean, Pluto's going into your first house eventually too, so that's going to bring a little bit more of a tense aspect of like, you know, you versus other people. So just try to take it easy. Mars is going to come back to this spot next year, so this is kind of just giving you a little preview of where you are heading into. Mercury will enter shadow and, you know, begin its whole thing, you know, the whole retrograde thing, you know, so just really review on, you know, these people that you're working with and stuff like that. So it's going to be shifted. Venus enters your 12th house of Capricorn. So, you know, Venus is moving into an area of life where it's very hidden for you. This could either be, you know, trying to be a little bit more secretive or hidden, or not so showing off of, you know, the way you're relating to other people, you know, maybe doing things a little bit in the backdrop, but just kind of just watch out for, you know, deception as well. I feel like Venus in the 12th can be kind of annoying about that, but just that's something else to really think about. But I feel like whatever you're attracting is just going to be more of a spiritual thing, more of a, you know, what's needed for like my mental health and stuff like that. Just bring more ease on that stuff. So, and then your ruler Saturn stations direct in your second house. So whatever you've been dealing with, the finances, resources, and all that stuff, it's finally coming to an end. You know your limitations, the responsibilities you've been dealing with since the beginning of this year. You're understanding, you know, how much I can spend, how much of my priority I am putting into this energy or whatever, or how much am I investing into certain things or whatever. So that's kind of the whole thing. And then we have a full moon Taurus happening on Uranus in your 4th house. So there might be a little bit of chaoticness in your home, your living situation. Or something to do with like your career, your work, home life might be uneasy at this point. Just try to take it easy. Might be a little bit of drama though, no matter what it is. And then Pluto enters your sign. So 1 second, hold on. Okay, so Pluto entering your sign of Aquarius, that is tripping. That is transformating. That's gonna transform who you are. It is done in your 12th house. Your subconscious, your like hidden parts or whatever has been very uprooted, and there's no more of that stuff no more. So maybe your subconscious and mental side has been very transformed, and your perception of that spiritual side of you is it's huge now. It's changed, it's done, no more. Now it's about to transform who you are, Aquariuses. That's going to be nuts over the next 20 years. So that is where the power is going. Might give you a little power to really like put a huge impression on other people of how they see you. You know, there's that Mars opposite Pluto in these two signs, you know. So this is going to be a very like prominent area for you. You know, you versus other people. There's going to be oppositions happening. So just take it easy, guys. And then everything gets into Sag. The sun goes into Sag, and then we have a new moon happening in Sag, and Mercury goes retrograde in Sag. I mean, this is just how we end the month. So yeah, new moon happening in Sag, just refreshing the energies of like, you know, like I said, friendships, opportunities, your dreams, working with groups of people, all that stuff. It's going under review with Mercury going retrograde, and that is how we end the month. All right, last sign, Pisces. I know it's a long video. I did not expect it to be this long, but I had a lot to say, honestly. So, okay. Oh man, I am screwing this up. Let me just do this. Okay, here we go. Wait. Oh my gosh. All right, so Pisces. Pisces, so the new moon happening in Scorpio is happening at the beginning of the month. It's in your 9th house, so that's very cool. It's really shining, you know, harmonizing. Oh my god, I can't even say it. It's sending good rays to your 1st house. It's forming a trine to your 1st house. So whatever intentions you are really setting at this time is really prominent for you, and it's very easy. In a water sign, your water sign. It's very just nice and easy. It's a 4. It's beautiful. It's nice. Ninth house, traveling, foreign languages, or anything foreign, higher education, philosophies, truths, dreams, like legal matters, anything, academics. If you're thinking about all this stuff, as this new moon is happening, that is where the cycle is beginning, and that is where you will set your intentions at. Okay, and then Mercury goes into your 10th house of Sagittarius. So Mercury's going to be here for quite some time. Just kind of get used to it. Mercury's in detriment in the sign of Sag, but it's all right. I mean, the mind, how we communicate, how we process information, it's moving into your 10th house. So this is really like you thinking about achievements in your career, or maybe thinking about like what role do you want to play out in the world, or how you want to be presented out in the world. And then Mercury will do its whole retrograde thing to change your perspective, I should say, of, maybe adjusting to a new certain role that you want, or something like that. So just kind of get used to that. Yes, it's going to bring tense aspects. It's going to be squaring your first house of Pisces. So it's all good. We'll live past this. And then Mars enters your 6th house of Leo. So Mars is opening a new door for you, Pisces. It's going to eventually go back into Cancer. This is just a little preview of what to expect in the near future. Mars entering the 6th house. Mars likes to be in the 6th house. It finds its joy in the 6th house. This might give you a little bit of more energy, slightly, because Mars is slowing down, to really get, the ball rolling of what you want to achieve, or any goals you want or set for yourself when it comes to dealing with physical health, your health is like any health issues, your work space in general, the work that is needed to provide a good living life or whatever. So something like that. But Mars will eventually go retrograde and move back, so this is just kind of giving you a little hint, preview of what to expect. Maybe kind of get your health in check before you are ready to set any goals in there. So after that, Venus enters Cap. Let's see, where's she at? Oh no, Pisces is such a short sign when you're trying to move through these hours, because it's so short. I don't know, it just happens. Anyways, okay, Venus entering Capricorn. So shifting the vibe of what you are valuing, what you are attracting, and this is maybe attracting new friendships, attracting new groups of people, maybe attracting huge financial gains of what you've been maybe working towards in your career or public life. You're going to be, open to new opportunities. Like I said, when working with, groups of people, or just your community in general. That should be a little bit of fun, have a little seriousness, but a little fun with playing by the rules and stuff. So, and then Saturn will station direct in your sign. So that's cool, I guess. Yes, Saturn's been having this, heaviness, on you. So maybe it's been sort of a melancholic type of energy, but that's just, wherever Saturn's at is going to bring that bring that heaviness to you. But what responsibilities have you been dealing with since the beginning of this year? Saturn is in your 1st house, so it's really kind of trying to make you extra disciplined or mature of the personality that you present to others. Impress, I should say. So you've probably been a little bit more serious. That's just kind of just Saturn and what Saturn's been doing. But yeah, think about all the responsibilities, how you've matured over this year, how you've disciplined yourself, and just what you've been dealing with. It is finally going, direct to finish its period of time in your sign. So hallelujah. But it'll eventually go back in your sign towards the end of next year. So you get a small break for you Pisces. Not yet though. And then the full moon happening in your 3rd house. It's going to be on Uranus. So chaoticness, unexpectedness. This is 3rd house. This is, siblings, short-term travels, education, just your social life and your neighborhood and stuff like that. So maybe a little bit of chaoticness. Emotions will be running high, but I think it'll be all right. So yeah, maybe something to do with like traveling, because the sun's in your ninth house of, you know, traveling, and then third house is like local travel. So maybe there's like traffic, or there's like delays in traffic and kind of stops your whole, you know, plans or whatever. So that's something to look out for. And then Pluto goes into your 12th house. So that's going to be interesting. Pluto's done in your 11th house. So maybe, you know, it's transformed these friendships. It's transformed the way you work for your community, work for like any audience. If you are networking or doing any of that, it's really, you know, transformed all of that. But now the power is going towards your 12th house. This is going to be a very spiritual time for you guys. 20 years it's going to be here. So your mental health, subconscious, that's going to be the whole theme for you guys. So just kind of just like think about that for the next 20 years. It's going to be a very like digging up, you know, subconscious stuff. It might not feel very comfortable, but it's going to be like, wow, like this is all this hidden junk that I've been holding on to, like in the back of my mind, and Pluto's gonna bring it up. So even if it feels uncomfortable, like it's coming. Get ready though. So and then basically everything, you know, the sun goes into Sag, and then we have a new moon in Sag as well, and then Mercury's basically going retrograde in this is all 10th house themed. So, you know, that's kind of just basically the whole month. So, you know, set the intentions of maybe doing some better things in your public life, in your career life, as this new moon approaches it. And Mercury going retrograde in your 10th house is reviewing, you know, I guess basically your perspective on what roles you want to you take on, obligations, how you want to be presented in your public eye. So that's kind of what I would say. I know it's a little longer video than I expected, but we did have a lot to talk about. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for sticking around. If you are still listening to this, please, thank you. Much gratitude towards all of you. I really love and appreciate all of you guys and the support and the reviews, and like the stuff that I've been getting from my work has really changed my perspective on just why I want to do this in life. And I really, with like a warm heart, I want to just thank all of you guys, because it makes me more passionate to do this type of stuff, to do these videos, to sell my merch, to just do whatever I can just to, I guess, change the world, change like what I am providing for this, I guess, my immediate environment or my circle of world of like just whatever. It's just, I've been having a lot on my mind about just like what I've been doing, and I'm just trying to better myself and just do what I love, you know. And I feel like that's just like the whole message that I want to kind of give out to you guys, even if none of you guys actually see this part. But I just want to say, like, just, you know, thank you for all the support, and just if there's anything that, you know, that you are passionate about or what you love, like, just go for it and just, you know, run with it. I feel like that's just, you know, kind of any secret to do with life in general. You just have to just find what you love and go for it. You know, there's a lot of, I know I mentioned any political things in this video. I'm not about that. I mean, whoever wins, you know, it could be either side, but I'm not here to like change your perspective on anything. I am just here to at least, you know, send guidance or any approaches that you can maybe follow, you know, in your daily lives to make it any better. And it brings me joy when I hear stuff about that, you know, when I feel like I've changed, you know, somebody else, or I've made somebody's day, or just anything. It's a crazy feeling, you know. And I just want to just kind of say that I'm glad I kind of brought this up. Yeah, you know, so please, I mean, if you are enjoying these videos, like, and just please like, share, subscribe, listen to it on Spotify. I'm on Spotify now, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Follow me on Patreon if you want to get this a little earlier than when I post it onto Spotify and YouTube. Get a little exclusive, you know. So that's that. My tier on Patreon is only $10. I only have the one now because I've tried to work on, you know, a couple tiers, but that didn't really work. So I just kind of focused on the one tier. So you can do that and join me. And just, I guess, follow this on YouTube and see it whenever it comes out. So yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. I was so glad to, talk about this month. We have so much coming in the next, like, year, basically, in a couple years, guys. So this is just a very, very interesting time that we are living through, and I just want all of us to just do the best we can. Yes, we are going through a lot of retrograde energy at this point, but there's times where we have to deal with these things, and there's times when we don't. And this is just a tough time, but we will get out of this. Yes, it's going to be until like maybe next spring when things really start to, free us from a lot of things. We have a Venus retrograde coming up. We have a Mars retrograde, like I said, that we're dealing with. And we have maybe another Mercury retrograde after this one. But we will get out of this. We are moving into a huge, huge shift in reality. So I guess I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. And I appreciate all of you guys. I send all of my love to all of you guys. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video.